Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 4 of Quarantine Cast here on Beyond the Brick. Our guest this week is French YouTuber Republicattak.
Hello.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Quarantine Cast. I'm Joshua Hanlon, joined once again by Brian Saviano, who you will see every week here on this live stream, as well as the Thursday gaming streams that he does here on Beyond the Brick. So definitely make sure to check that out. We also have Matt, the Brick Whiz, joining us for the first time on Quarantine Cast. So thank you so much for joining us, Matt.
Of course, happy to be here.
And our guest this week is Republicattak. As I said, he is a French Lego YouTuber. Especially if you're a Star Wars fan, you've probably seen some of his videos. So I really appreciate you joining us. If you want to give everyone who maybe hasn't seen some of your videos before a quick introduction to yourself.
So hello everyone. Star Wars sign, obviously.
Yes, you're a true fan.
Yeah, totally. So just been doing YouTube video for about 10 years. Was really slow at doing YouTube videos back in time, but since 2 years ago I got robbed, and strangely enough, I got robbed most of my Legos, and it pushed me to do more videos and be more active. So now here we are.
Yes, and you're pumping out some great content over there. Now, we did put out on the community tab here on Beyond the Brick, we put out asking for anyone who might have questions for you, and we did get a lot of questions related to the robbery and kind of that whole situation. So I think we'll start there because a lot of people were wondering kind of how it's been for you since then. So for people who aren't familiar with that situation and kind of what happened, if you can give the background and kind of the details of that situation, and then we'll kind of go from there and get to where you are today.
Well, simply I started a YouTube channel back in 2010 because why not? I mean, when you just look at YouTube and there were plenty of Lego Star Wars content, so why not share mine too? And so I posted basically a video every once in a while when I was finished building a construction. So I was pretty slow, like maybe one video a year sometimes, or just 10 maximum. And so in October 2018, while I was coming back from a business trip, I got the unfortunate pleasure, so not really a pleasure in the end, but well, to see my collection being robbed. And so yeah, it was really heavy. And so basically I made a video saying that I was just quitting this community because, well, I couldn't do it anymore because it was still 14 years of collections, so it's quite a lot. And following this, there is M&R Productions, which decided to start a GoFundMe, and I have all my friends and all people in the Lego community, and even people outside of the Lego community, which started to come and just support me. And so, well, it just gave me the will to continue.
Yeah, that was so amazing. So you had 14 years worth of Star Wars sets that you'd collected up to that point?
Yeah, indeed. With many, like, I built that one under the Christmas tree while my parents were watching. I built that one in the garden with my mother. I mean, just like anyone else which had Legos as a kid, that can just perfectly relate to that.
Right. So you had not only a lot of sets, but just the emotional connection to everything as well.
Yeah, obviously. And the issue also with Lego, so that's all the emotional part, which is pretty terrible, but there's also the financial part, unfortunately, because Legos are oddly enough expensive. So that's not the best thing in the world. They had a higher inflation than gold since 2000, I believe. So something crazy like this. So yeah, pretty tough project then to rebuild this collection.
So you got home, you realized all of this had been stolen, and so what were kind of some of your first thoughts that were going through your head at that point then, and what you thought your kind of Lego fandom would look like in the future right at that point?
So first, what were my thoughts when I saw the robbery?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, when I arrived, I saw the car with the window being smashed, and I was like, okay, that's not normal at all. And then I just walked, and the issue is that before the house there is a plain area, and I saw lots of bricks on the ground. And so I immediately understood that it wasn't a casual robbery, it was about my Legos. Well, maybe they stole Mac computers or money or whatever, but I didn't care at that point. And so I had hope at the start that it was just a robbery. They took my TV. It's but no, then I saw. So I basically went all the way into the house and just saw more and more pieces. And what's really terrific is that it was like a horror movie, but for layers. So like, oh, that's my Republic frigate here. Oh, that's my clone Chuba tank here. That's part of it. Oh, that's my Ewok village. Oh, wonderful to see you there. Now I can joke about it because I've made lots of I've been escorted and held by lots of specialists, so I can easily joke about it. So it's no issue if you want to joke about it and make sarcasm. I'm French after all. And so yeah, when I just entered, it was just like you just saw the entire place into a mess, and it was really, really terrible feeling. Just seeing that, and basically what happened is that I was just screaming. Like I screamed for at least 20 minutes long, and I just knocked my head against the wall, literally. I hurt myself. It wasn't a good idea, but yeah. So called the cops. Obviously, waited for the cops, and yeah, it was a special day.
Yeah, so obviously you had so many emotions and so many things going through your head at that point. Then in the days following, in the weeks following, is kind of you started to take stock of everything that was missing. And then at what point did the online campaign break out that you referenced there?
Actually, immediately, because like I just I think it was 2 hours later, I decided to do this video because like I have French friends in the Lego community, and one of the funny thing is that I sent them a message saying, hey, I was robbed my Legos, and they were just like, stop joking, stop being silly, Louis, no, you can stop joking with us, no, it's not the 1st April. And so, well, eventually they figured it out, and so I decided to make just a video and just stop looking at my YouTube channel, and just so I just closed it all, and then I went for a good. Well, I didn't sleep of the night, but I just cut internet fully, and then a day later, I just had the bad instinct of opening, and I had tons of notifications, and I had been also contacted by M&R Productions, which wanted to make a GoFundMe, and also French journalists, and just tons of things like that. So it was really crazy, and obviously lots of very kind comments, especially from friends and relatives, which knew how deep I was feeling towards Legos. So
it was fantastic to see the way the community really gathered together and helped support you. So after the GoFundMe was created, how was there a certain goal for that, or was it basically just set up as donations to help you kind of get back on your feet and get your collection back?
Honestly, I had talks with my friends, and so they gave me the motivation to at the end stop what I was thinking about, which is like stopping Legos, so to just restart my collection. And so M&R Production said, hey, let's make a GoFundMe. And he asked me, what do you want it to be the goal? And I will say, you know what, if we raise $1,000, that will be marvelous. That will be already a great start for restarting my collection. And in the end, and so I had made an estimate with the police of what I was robbed, which was 16,400 euros, and we actually got close to this amount in terms of dollars. So yeah, in less than 24 hours. So that was pretty crazy. And so I asked him to close the donations because I didn't want it to gain more than what I was robbed, obviously.
Right. So you kind of saw this as getting back basically what you figured you had lost, and then at that point you were fine with shutting it down and not just trying to get more donations.
No, because it won't have been fair at all. I mean, first of all, I get my responsibilities, and probably I shall have get an insurance. I shall have get an insurance probably for Legos. I mean, I never thought about this. I never thought that someone will steal your Legos. I mean, you don't have a nightmare about this. I personally never did. And yeah, so it was just already very kind and just amazing and very surprising for me that people were willing to give me money to help me restart. So like, why will I ask them more? And I mean, it won't be fair at all, and nor morally right. Sorry for my English.
No, that's all good. That makes total sense. So then after the GoFundMe ended, what was your approach to going back and kind of rebuilding the collection and then getting back into YouTube?
First of all, getting a place which is safe for my Legos. And so, well, I started doing research for security, like what kind of doors you need to have to not get robbed easily, what kind of alarm you need to have, what kind of camera you need to add, and what kind of windows you need to have. So that was pretty interesting topic. Like that's not the kind of thing I expected to research one day, but so I did.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully you've got it all in a better, more secure place now. And do you feel like you're kind of more prepared? I know you mentioned insurance there. So is that something you have now on the collection? Because that's something that I've heard a lot of Lego fans talk about over the years, whether it's worth kind of insuring the collection or how exactly does that work? Because yeah, it falls in kind of a weird place there.
Yeah. Now, given all the investments I did, I so far haven't applied for an insurance. Because my collection is pretty safe and they're like security cameras and alarm. So like if it's robbed again, which I think it's unlikely because there is only me and obviously my banker, which knows where it is. Well, pretty safe. But in a case of where my collection will be home, some Lego fan which have the collection at home, it's probably better for getting an insurance. I think.
No, that totally makes sense. Another thing I wanted to ask you about related to this is, so we talked about the GoFundMe, which I think is really fascinating and amazing to see all the support there. But what other outlets online were there of either companies or people that might have like reached out to help support you during this time, or even just share kind of the GoFundMe or share your story online?
Well, first thing you need to know is that so basically all that story happened during a weekend.
Okay.
And
it was very quick.
Yeah, and I had to get back to. I had another business travel the week after, so I was emotionally very taken, and so I basically went for that business travel. And so what happened is apparently French television got at my place, so they actually found my place, and were wanting to interview me, for instance. So it was really something crazy that they found out my address like this. So I mean, it's no wonder maybe that I got robbed. And there was also many supports, lots and lots of messages. And I also wanted to respond personally to every single donation which have been made, which I effectively did. Sent a personal message to everyone. But so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. There were just tons and tons of things and it just blew up. I couldn't process it all, but I replied to most, I think.
That's very nice. Yeah. And then also in just a very kind of small span here is due to all of this publicity, you had a lot of new people coming in and discovering your YouTube channel and your work online. So talk about what that was like, because I think that kind of just blew up in a very small span of time.
Yeah, I actually feel pretty bad about this because to be honest, I had a 4,400 subscribers before the robbery. I had just that. And I maybe had a total of 1 million views or just a bit more. And so I really feel bad at the same time because like it's kind of a tragedy, a drama, I would say, or I don't know how to say it in English properly. And so at the same time, it's positive. I mean, for me, I like to be watched by lots of people. Yeah, it's true. But at the same time, I feel bad, like for instance, for your channel or just like any other channel which posts, a couple of videos a week or just worked much harder and stuff like this, and so which deserve to have those subscribers and have like lots of followings. And yeah, I don't know how to say this, but it's just a weird feeling. Like I don't put that much work into my YouTube channel. Like I don't really earn revenues from it. It's not my work. I don't put lots of time in it, and I still got that much following. So it's pretty impressive and mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's great that you're able to still now continue making videos and engage that audience. That since everybody came over, you were able to keep the channel going and not just drop everything and then leave those people with no content.
Yeah, I hope they enjoy my content. It's just all I can say.
So what are the main types of videos you would say you do now that you've kind of built your collection back up a bit and you're staying involved with the YouTube and online community? for people who want to go check out your work and maybe haven't seen it before, what types of content would you say they can primarily find over there?
Just a slave Frenchman playing with Legos and just talking to himself. That will be an accurate description.
So it's a nice niche kind of community you've got over there.
Yeah, and I often get like personal messages saying that I'm very inspiring, or I just get people to get back to Legos, and just that they are laughing a lot watching my videos. So I can just, I mean, that's the best salary one may have, in my opinion. That's the best thing I can receive, is that people have fun watching my videos. So I'm just, if I can make their day, like make them smile day, it's a pretty good result.
And yeah, you definitely have some great content over there. So I wanted to get to a few of the questions that our viewers had sent in on the community tab. So one question was about monetizing your channel. So do you not? I think someone wondered why you don't have any ads on your videos.
So first of all, there are ads, but they are on the side of the video, because so that doesn't really earn you revenues. But so there are two reasons, and maybe I will change my mind later on.
Yeah.
But currently, why? There are two reasons. So the first one is that I don't want like to get reliable financially on YouTube, because I want to keep it doing for passion, and I don't want like to say, oh, I have to do a video. I have to do a video to get views and to get money, because otherwise I feel like I won't have fun editing and just talking and making my videos. And I just want to make this for leisure. And obviously it will be fine to get revenues from that extra, but I feel like if I monetize fully my videos, I will get a certain pressure. I will put certain pressure on myself, and I will feel like I am accountable to people for making videos. And at the same time, I don't really want that so far, to put myself pressure on this, because otherwise I will lose basically the soul of what I'm doing, at least from my perspective. And second reason is that I watch lots of YouTube videos, and I just, sorry to say this, but it's just so annoying to watch ads. So I don't want like to annoy people. So just watch my video and just enjoy, or just leave it if you don't want. But so that at least you don't have an ad to annoy you. And that's just my personal opinion. And at the same time, I'm completely okay with creators putting ads. I just perfectly understand it. It's just that, I don't know, I want to make it easier for people which watch my videos.
Yeah, those are a couple of good points. I'd be interested in getting Matt and Brian's take on this as well. I know from my perspective, kind of with what we do at Beyond the Brick, I totally get what you're saying with the fact that, yeah, you obviously have the pressure then of kind of being beholden to the ad system on YouTube, which can be difficult and get annoying. And then there's the fact that it's kind of annoying for people to have to watch ads. I think our approach has always been the fact that with the money that we get from ads, we can just make so much more content and go to new shows and cover new stuff. So it can kind of offsets it in the end, has always been kind of our approach. But Brian, what is your thought on this topic?
So whenever you're having a YouTube channel, a Twitch stream, and anything and everything, it's always important. And in business in general, I feel like it's called diversifying your income. So if you are beholden to just one specific thing, then if that, ship tanks, well then, oops, there it goes. You want to have multiple places you can draw from in case, one thing might go south one month and then something else can off balance that. So that's especially important in the online content creation game. There's plenty of things like Patreon, and if you live stream like on a platform like Twitch, there's that. There's also merchandise, which like Beyond the Brick, you guys got merchandise, and that's great. So it's important to have those different revenue streams, as well as like a variety of content. So like if something, you don't have this one idea for this set review or something like a project you're working on, well, then you can go to something else and maybe try that. And maybe that will spark something new. And then that could pop off and go crazy. So it's all about diversification. But I get with the ad system, it's always been very finicky with YouTube. Always. It's been that way since the existence of the platform. I don't blame you for having a headache from it, for sure.
Plus, if I may add, you are a more serious YouTube channel than I, honestly. Way more serious, way more better. So just yeah.
Well, they have uniforms, so I mean that's the right direction
Fair
there.
point.
We do have our, depending on who you ask, pizza delivery or Target employee uniforms.
That's right.
Viewers
I
are
agree,
split on
great.
that.
Yeah,
What's that?
I agree, and that's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, but that's a great point, Brian, what you were saying about like the need for diversity. So like right now, actually, with Beyond the Brick, because of the what's going on in the world right now and with the way that advertisers are approaching everything, like YouTube ad CPM, like the money you get per 1,000 views is actually really low right now, at least for us. But then our Facebook page has been doing really well recently. And so it's that idea of just coming up with as many different kind of avenues of supporting yourself and not being too reliant on any one thing that I think is definitely very accurate.
Wait, isn't the Facebook page like close to eclipsing the amount of subscribers on YouTube? Am I wrong with that, or?
No, I think it is getting close.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been growing very quickly on Facebook. So
Interesting how
I forget the exact number.
It's really interesting how putting your content on multiple platforms can really work out for you. Huh. There you go. Facebook, because like most people wouldn't know, like, oh, Facebook is for old people. There's probably more people watching on Facebook right now than on YouTube, you know? So you can't undermine just one whole social media platform or anything like that. It's important to put your content where people want to see it. So
right, we do stream to both Facebook and YouTube. So thank you everyone who's joined us on both platforms right now. We always appreciate it. And how about you, Matt? What is your thought or take and how you approach this with your channel?
So this is something I actually talked to Luis about a couple of months ago.
Okay.
I first met Luis after the incident. I contributed. He reached out, and that's sort of how our friendship started. And I asked him, I'm like, there's no ads on your videos. Why don't you monetize that? Because for me, I see an opportunity. And the way I think necessarily is Luis has this tremendously strong, almost cult-like following now. There's so many people outside of Lego who are invested in his content, not just because of Lego. They're invested because of what had happened and what he has done in an effort to fix and correct his path with that. So what I see is an opportunity for Luis to continue doing his very funny, very embarrassing videos. I mean, I don't even take myself. I'm wearing a hood on a live stream right now. But the point is, if I think there's an opportunity for you to create content that you love to do, that you're truly, genuinely passionate about, and make some money, I don't really see a problem with that. But I do understand, because ads are annoying. I personally don't really care watching ads, because I know when I watch an ad, it goes to whatever creator that I'm supporting and watching their video. But I do get it. YouTube's ad system is wonky. It's never, ever consistent. But then Brian made a great point, is diversifying. You can't just rely on one source of income. Let's say if you relied on YouTube entirely, YouTube goes down for a month, what's going to happen? So I definitely see why Luis doesn't put ads on his videos for sure. But I still think he should, because I don't think his fans would care. They know that they're supporting him for some awful event that really happens to not too many people. But I see it as an opportunity, like a good thing to come from a really bad thing. At first, there's the difficulty in that path you have to overcome, but then out of it comes amazing opportunity. I think that's just one of the many ones that he has. So I've asked him about it. I've told him to monetize it, because he could do a lot more stuff with his channel. But I respect whatever he decides to do anyway. So
there you go. You got Matt's support, Luis.
You have all of our support.
No, and that's so true. That's actually something that I noticed when in the community tab and the places where we got questions and gave the opportunity for people to see if they had anything to ask you. In addition to the questions, there was just a lot of people who really just said they wanted to let you know that they support you and they think it's the work you're doing is really amazing, and it's great to see you being active on YouTube and everything. So if you wondered about it, you definitely have a lot of fans out there and a lot of people who are rooting for you and enjoying what you're doing.
Well, then I'm delighted if you like what I do. Thank you very much.
Now, I wanted to wrap up with the whole discussion of the robbery and everything. Was anyone ever caught related to that, or what was the final kind of piece of that whole situation when it came to everything that was stolen, basically?
So far, there isn't any clear evidence on who did that, and so far there isn't anyone arrested as of yet on this. And so I think it will be it will be like something which goes into sleeping mode. Even if I have personal ideas, but you can't like launch accusation or else without any proof. And well, I will just close my legroom to myself, and that's pretty much it. That's the only lesson I got.
Yeah. So you just hope maybe something will come of it eventually.
Yeah.
Do you have a giant vault door on your home now that you have to open up to get to the Lego? Is that what you do?
No, it's a pretty heavy door, but it's actually, I'm not going to talk about how it is organized.
Door I have.
Yeah, Brian.
I'm interested.
Is that a carbon model 2 from what is it? Let me see if I can.
Yeah, Brian, were you in France when this happened? Like,
No,
what's going on here?
the flights are cheap right now, man. I got nowhere to be. Let's go. I'm just kidding. What? Nothing. No, I'm just building. Hey, I'm just building this hidden side plane right now. That's all I'm doing.
He's looking innocent. He is looking.
As all look at this background. You think this is the background of someone who's gonna steal all your stuff? Come on, man. I got Kirby. All right, this is Kirby's happiness. So
you have this innocent face you put on online, but we know the truth, Brian.
you know.
There you go.
There it is.
And then Luis, I also wanted, if I remember correctly, did the Lego company themselves get involved in some way or reach out to you during all of this?
Yeah, they reached out to me first of all to send me the support, which I've been really grateful of, and they even they had the Lego design team which made a common message for me, and also they with the involvement of Lucasfilm, they sent a Lego box towards the US where there was a set of Star Wars 9, and they made sign the box by three actors and J.J. Abrams, and offered to me. So it was really great from them and Lucasfilm to do that.
Yeah, that was very generous of them. That's amazing that they were willing to reach out and really, because it's hard for a lot of times, even when something like this happens, that like a big company will get involved. That's not always easy. So it's great when they're paying enough attention and are willing to reach out to people like that.
Yeah, indeed, totally. So I'm really grateful to them and Lucasfilm, both.
And then I wanted to hit on some other viewer questions that we had here. So some of them are general thoughts on various Star Wars related media, so we can get everybody that's in the stream here share your thoughts. So somebody wanted to know your opinion on The Mandalorian. Have you had a chance to watch the show yet, and what your thoughts are?
Yeah, I really like the show. Honestly, it's pretty good Star Wars. Really fond of it. And yeah, I mean, pretty good job. Other than that, I don't really have any comments like more than any Star Wars experts. I'm not a Star Wars expert personally, so any other comments will be just useless. I just really enjoyed it. That's all I can say.
A man who knows his opinion very well.
Yeah.
You don't have a 10-minute long hot take to share with us on anything related to it?
Well, I can just speak about it, but it will be pretty much useless. And you can just you have tons and tons of videos on YouTube which speak about it better than I. So if you just want, it's just really how I do my stuff. It's just me being silly and just making some comments which don't really have any added value, like any real value, but. Yeah, so I just know my limits at the same time.
Well,
but if you want, I can just
overcompensate.
I can just speak. I'm French at the same time, so I can just speak about it during 10 hours if you want. I will always find things to say.
You have a wide range of abilities, but you try to keep everything in check.
Yeah, I mean, that's your live stream, so I can't, I know where the borders are,
There you go. Good job. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. They'll be happy to know that. How about you, Matt? I'm sure on your channel you've talked about this, but what is your overview of the show for viewers here?
Yeah, absolutely. So The Mandalorian was, when I first heard live action Star Wars, I was very skeptical. It's tough to bring something like Star Wars that's so driven by the media and the fans into something that's live action. So I had my speculations. I'm going to be entirely honest. I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be average. That's all I thought. But I went into the show with an open mind, hoping it's going to be great. And I got to say, I think it turned out great. I think there are a few episodes here and there that obviously are filler episodes like any other TV show. But as a Star Wars fan, and I guess these are like minor spoilers, but seeing things that have been referenced. So if you know like your Star Wars lore, like the Darksaber and all that kind of stuff, seeing that in the show was super nice. I'm also a huge fan. I forget his name, but I'm also a huge fan of who actually plays the Mandalorian. I love Game of Thrones, and I loved him in that. So that also helps as well. But the Mandalorian show overall for me was great. I'm very much anticipating season 2. And there's a lot of cliffhangers that we don't necessarily know about just yet. So overall, the show was great for me. I binge watched it, and I'll probably binge watch it again since I have nothing to do during Corona. But it was good. I love the show. I truly did.
Yeah,
Catch all those small things you missed the first time.
Exactly.
And the best things always remained like the last episode, like the first minutes of the last episode. Always wonderful. The first scenes, I believe it is.
And then Brian, I don't know, have we gotten your take on the Mandalorian in one of these streams yet? I'm not sure if that's come up.
No, every other second involving me talking about anything gets directed to Mario for some reason. But with the Mandalorian, I was excited from the get-go because it wasn't a movie, and I had been so burnt out on the movies for what they are, and that's a whole other thing. So and I'm a big Jon Favreau fan. So with him being at the helm and the direction that they took with the cinematography and the world building and everything, it just made for a really good combination. And it was something I could very much so look forward to in a way that I couldn't with a lot of Star Wars media in the past reign of the Marvel movies being a thing, pretty much. As I've said before on here, I've converted from being a mostly Star Wars fan to Marvel just because of the movies and the hype and everything else. So my Star Wars love has not been as high as it has been previously, but The Mandalorian stood out, and I think that the reception from that will warrant more things like that to be made in the future, and I look forward to that, which is why I'm so glad that the Obi-Wan project is going to be on Disney Plus. It's going to be a series. We're getting potentially 6 hours or more of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and that I think that formula for Disney Plus and that mini-series sort of thing that you can look forward to every week is where Star Wars is going to strive now that the movies are on a little bit of a hiatus. So I like The Mandalorian a lot. I'm going to get the Razor Crest set. I'm all in on Baby Yoda. I'm locked and loaded. So the more of that quality content we can get, I'm all for it, man.
Louise, was Baby Yoda as popular in France as it was here in the US?
I don't think like, I mean, yeah. Sorry for the word, but from what I saw online, like it was a bit fanatic about Baby Yoda. Well,
hey, Baby Yoda is a national treasure, sir. Baby Yoda's a way of life.
Sure, totally.
Whatever you say.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to like you have more powerful army than us. So sure, whatever you will say, give or take.
We all have our differing opinions.
But yeah, definitely was really considered as huge. Honestly, what I'm more afraid about is just the overall strategy. Like, if there is just like Star Trek, just a bit like Star Trek, there are, I don't know, 15 movies if I remember correctly, and just tons and tons of series and seasons. And what I fear a bit is that there is just too much content in the end, and so that we're just flooded with content all the time, and you don't know where you have to go and just look at what do you look at it. And so I just hope that we won't have like this thing of like, being sick too much Star Wars. So I just hope that they don't do a Star Wars 10, for instance. I truly hope. They can do all the movies, obviously, but not Star Wars 10, please.
You think people might lose interest if it's just such an overwhelming amount of content that they feel like either it's too much or and they just can't keep up with it, or it's just so much that they just lose interest because why bother trying?
Yeah, both reasons actually. And at the same time, I know that hardcore fans will just keep up with it. But I also like the idea of just Star Wars being at the start just 6 movies designed by George Lucas. That's also pretty fancy, pretty simple story, and you can it's a galaxy basically. So you have like many possibilities, and you can just have a kid also dream of your own story and just project yourself.
That makes sense. Related to the discussion of Star Wars media, we had several viewers sending questions, wondering your thoughts on the new Clone Wars episodes as well. So what are your thoughts on that, and what would you tell people there?
I really like the fact that Disney gave up and just give us Star Wars: The Clone Wars back. It feels good, partially with Ahsoka. Just really great feeling. However, I feel like the scenarios, generally speaking, except maybe the first episodes, are just a bit too simple. And at the same time, they're cool, but I don't know. It's just a mix so far. Like, for instance, the Mandalorian episode, it was a bit too rushed and too classical. And I don't know. It just feels like, we're just going to explode stuff. That's just all it's about. And I understand that some people like it, but personally, I also like the political aspect. Like, for instance, when they were debating about extending the clone army, or just when you have battlefields like Umbara, which are more complex, and you also have the like some kind of psychological aspect for the clones, or just like questions and enigmas, rather than just rushing and just blowing stuff.
That makes sense. Matt, what is your take on this? Because I know this is something that you also follow quite closely.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm in love with it. I built my current project around the Clone Wars, and the first episodes there was the Bad Batch arc, Fort and Axis. That's what my entire build for the past year has been comprised of. But the Clone Wars for me has always been very special, pretty much for one reason. This might be a little controversial, but I'm not the biggest fan of the prequels. I think all Star Wars movies are good. All Star Wars movies have flaws. But for me, the Clone Wars tells the story that I would have liked to know before Episode 3. So what I really fell in love with this series, especially the most recent episode, and this is, I guess, a spoiler alert, but there's an initial part of the episode where it's just a really nice back and forth between Obi-Wan and Anakin when they're fighting, and you got to see that friendship and that camaraderie, which we failed to see in the prequels. So I absolutely love the Clone Wars as a series, probably one of my favorite Star Wars content ever. And I was just excited to finally get back to that Clone Wars era where we know a ton of fun stuff happened to see unfolded on screens. And I'm also a huge Jon Favreau fan. I also disagree with Luis. I think having politics in Star Wars is annoying. Like in Episode 1, when all they talk about is trade negotiations in the first 12 minutes of the film.
I couldn't agree more.
It's
I don't care about the trade negotiations.
I went back and watched Episode 1, and they said the word negotiation 4 times in 30 minutes. And I was just like, okay. But that's besides the point. The Clone Wars, the TV show, is great. I think it fixes a lot of the problems that a couple movies had, and I love the series so far. And I don't want it to end, but I think this arc we're getting with Mandalore, and obviously David's building his huge Mandalore mock. It's a great time to be a Clone Wars fan. That's for sure.
You aren't a fan of Star Wars C-SPAN?
That's a great way of putting it.
I might rather watch Star Wars C-SPAN than Episode 1, 2, and 3, but maybe.
Well, I don't want to spoil you again, but they talk about the dissolution of the Senate in Episode 6, if I remember correctly. So, sorry, Matt.
That's true. That is very true. But let's take a step back here. Episode 4, Episode 5. I'm sorry, this is my bread and butter right here. Episode 4 and 5, you start the movie. Episode 4, you got a nice chase with a starship. Episode 5, a big battle on Hoth. Episode 1, we're going to a ship to negotiate trade.
And that's actually one of the great things about Star Wars: The Clone Wars is that you get the separatist aspect, and how really Jedi are no longer trusted, nor is the Republic, nor is just the war in general. It's been so easy. There are the good guys and the bad guys, and the more that you dive into those politics and how the average citizen just look at it, and the more you understand that it was obvious that the Jedi were to get, sorry, spoiler alert, but killed.
That makes sense to have some of the politics involved of Star Wars, but I felt like I could feel as a child watching Episode 1 for the first time, the energy being just sucked out of me. I'm like, why do I care about the politics? And I think it's something you can appreciate as you get older, because you become more aware of the world and what's going on and whatnot. But if you're a kid who's 8 years old, You're seeing your first Star Wars movie in theaters. You're so energetic, and then trade negotiations. You're like, we're going to talk about tax policy. Let's go, kids. Like, all right. No.
Let's go, kids.
No, that's not. Taxes are not fun. Plot twist, people. So
Depends for who. Depends
for
who.
If like, I could go into a whole. Regardless,
you seem passionate.
Yes, I always channel all the passion for like Star Wars and Lego and all that just into this one stream for the week. So it's all the energy coming out at once. But yeah, there needs to be a little bit. I felt like there was too much, and the way that you worded it, Brick, was with it being the story that was shared in the Clone Wars is a story you wish you got out of the prequels. I never thought of it that way, and that makes it more incentive for me to actually watch it because with the story that happened in 1 and 2, I'm like, okay, there's good moments, but not a cohesive storyline, and it sounds like Clone Wars has the storyline, which is good.
Yeah, it develops the care for characters that, in my opinion, lacks in the prequels. Which, I mean, hey, like when I was a kid, I love the freaking prequels. I mean, you watch episode 2, you have big battles, and that stuff was awesome when I was a kid. But like Brian said, when you get older, you start to realize these things. And let's also be clear, like I love all of Star Wars. I don't care what movie's on the TV. I'll freaking watch it. I don't care. But the Clone Wars for me, especially because it fills that void that I felt, especially now, I develop that sense of care for the events of the prequel, but now with the Clone Wars, with the story and the character development between Anakin and Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Captain Rex, all those key characters, it just means a lot more. The movies mean a lot more now, which is why I love it so much.
That makes total sense. There's been a lot of talk in the chat back and forth over how cute Baby Yoda is, whether it's cute or not.
True. Objectively true.
Louise, what's your take on that?
Oh, totally cute. I mean, really, really cute 50 years old. Totally.
There we go. I think that settles it then. So everyone in chat, if you disagree, I think you're wrong. So another question we had, we've been talking about a lot of Star Wars. So somebody asked Louise, do you think Lego should make more accurate blasters? So with the Star Wars sets, do you feel that's an issue? And is there something they could do to make that more accurate?
Well, I feel like the Lego group have like a marketing line which is, well, as you know, very child oriented. So like having more accurate weapons won't really be in their objective, I guess. So I feel also very fine knowing that there are third-party shops which offer you very detailed weapons if you want to buy them. So I feel like, I shouldn't like count on Lego to do that because they have their policy and their way of doing things. So I just respect it. I can judge it. I mean, as a kid, I don't know. Honestly, don't have any real opinion on if it's good or bad. I'm not old enough for that.
So you would say maybe go check out like third-party retailers that maybe make other accurate stuff.
Yeah, that's personally what I do, and the same for BrickWiz, and they just do great stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah. So then if people want something more accurate, there are kind of these other companies basically that step in and provide that.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't change Lego except if you make a big petition and get millions and millions of signatures, which I don't think like people will be too concerned for now because there are some other subjects. But yeah, I mean, it's just give or take so far because Lego have the monopoly, obviously. So.
Mm-hmm. So then I wanted to transition to talking about some of your mocks as well, because you do feature some really cool builds that you've done on your own channel. We also, I don't think I've asked you what you're working on right there. So what is this a set or a build?
No, it's just that because I'm actually in lockdown. France is in lockdown. That's very fancy. And well, I just took a couple boxes, actually lots of boxes from my Lego room to just establish myself here. With some green outside and just build what I can. And what was your question for again?
I just wondered what you were working on there before we launched your actual big build.
So yeah, just sets because I don't have all my pieces obviously. And you're pretty generous to say good builds when there is Matt right in there.
You don't have to compare yourself to everyone else. Everybody builds at whatever level they're at. That's fine. That's what we try to encourage here at Beyond the Brick.
I know when to be arrogant, as much as a French can be, and I know also when I can be humble.
Joshua only builds like twice a year, so you're already a step ahead of him.
Sorry?
Joshua builds only a few times a year, so you're ahead of him in that regard.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That makes me feel much better.
Definitely a much better builder than me. But what are some recent builds that you've been doing over on your channel, or just kind of projects you've been working on?
Well, one of the things is actually a collab that was made with the BrickWiz in the Empire Log project, which is Empire at War. It was just a thought of a Star Destroyer, which was just realized. It's pretty impressive because it was standing, almost floating in the air. I don't know how it was standing really. And so I made a pretty fun. I mean, I like that video a lot where I just play with the pillows trying to just destabilize the whole structure. But other than that, I have many projects, but I'm pretty slow at building them because I have many constraints and it's not something I do full-time job. So.
Well, yeah. So you've just got to work with the time you've got then, basically.
Yeah, or when I have pressure for a common collaboration from Empire Log saying, "Hey, Louis, you said yes, so please do that damn mock. You better do it." So okay, I do it. It's fine.
A little peer pressure never hurts, to get you building.
Yeah, I'm obviously joking. It's a good thing to just sign a contract and then you read the contract afterwards. Oh, I need to do that. Okay, perfect.
The build you mentioned there, I believe, is actually the one. Is that the one you destroyed on the channel recently in one of your videos?
Yeah, I did.
That's what I was thinking. That was quite an entertaining video. So, how did you decide to do this here? And do you always destroy builds in a really spectacular manner?
Normally not, but what happened is that I had some personal issues and I just wanted to relax this weekend, and I just say, well, let's just go for it and just make a live stream, and we're going to see with the viewers what we're going to do. So we're just talking with them, and then in the end, we're just playing. Oh, what if I just remove this pillar? What happened? And well, in the end, it was refusing to fall down, so I just make a ninja, and yeah.
In the end, it looks spectacular. So it's a great way to start the destruction process and start sorting all the bricks back.
Yeah, I still haven't sorted them out yet, but yeah, it was pretty cool to have bricks all over the room. Yeah, really, really great. I just enjoyed it so much.
Do you have any projects planned for the future at this point then, or any big mocks or anything that you'd like to be working on?
Yeah, that's why I bought so many space sets, is to have actually many pieces to make one of the space center. Just in Lego, and I found those minifigs really fancy, like those astronauts. So why not do something like that? And obviously Star Wars, some dense place with vegetation, or just I personally have a big issue is that if you ask me to reproduce something into Legos, I will never be able to do it. Even if you just supply me with blueprints and else and all the pieces, I'm not able to at all reproduce a certain architecture or just something like that. So what will happen is just I will make up a planet, or I will just say, it's just when I build, oh, that looks fancy, so I'm just going to do it that way.
So realistic, kind of real life, recreating something from real life then isn't something you feel like you're very good at. That's something you
Oh no, I'm awful at that. Yeah, definitely awful.
So the cut in half Lego Masters challenge would not have been good for you, where you've got to recreate something.
I will recreate it, but then I know that when I'm building it, I will just say to myself, hey, what if I add this or just change this, and it just, I will have a global plan of what I want to build, and then in the end, it's completely different.
Yeah. That works. So, at least your building skills, and that way you can kind of focus in on what you enjoy and what you're good at and stick with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So since we're talking about builds, Matt, if you want to talk about the set you're working on there, and I think in the chat, they also asked about the Star Wars set you have there. So you can give your insight into that.
All right, so what I was just building this Technic set. It's something I got at Walmart like a year ago, and I just found it in my backlog. So I was like, why not? Pretty fun, you know? I don't know, it's cool. Reel back, goes forward, which is nice. But the Boba Fett helmet, I built this on stream last night. This thing's great. So for those who do not know, there are 3 helmets of these types that were released in the April wave. There is the Boba Fett, there's a Stormtrooper, which I have off to my side here, and then I also have the TIE Fighter pilot. It all came just like this in their own respective looks. It retails for $60. I think it's great if you're someone who likes display pieces and likes to just admire Lego. I'd say this is definitely an option for you. One of the cool things on the bottom here, you do have a printed modified plate, which does have Lego Star Wars and Boba Fett, which does look super cool. The only thing that moves with this is just the rangefinder, which is, if you've watched The Mandalorian or know Mandalorians, you'll know what that's for. But other than that, it's a pretty solid build. I mean, 600 plus parts, retails for $60. I think it's a pretty fair price. Of course, everyone would like it to be cheaper, but it does have a nice feel to it. It does look cool. You can see like it's very iconic. You know who it is as soon as you look at it. But yeah, that's the quick review. Also, the box is really, really nice. You have Boba Fett on the front with some nice like background lighting. You got the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back on the side of the box. The back of it has some more pictures of Boba Fett and stuff like that. So I'm a fan of it. This wave is actually the first wave that we've gotten maybe ever, or at least in a long time, that there's no play sets. So I think in this wave, there were these 3. We had the DO, and then I think there might have been the Brickhead comes in August, and then there's the UCS A-Wing coming out May 1st, and there's no play set. And I know that's been a big point for a lot of people that there's no play set. I personally don't really mind. I think it's actually nice that LEGO is doing a line that's geared towards displaying, which is cool. $60, I'd recommend this, especially if you get VIP points, or especially with the May 4th and May 1st promotions coming up. This, I think, should definitely be a pretty good build. But I like it. I think a lot of people do like it as well. So.
And there you go, John. You can clip that out and upload that as a video to the channel. There it is right there. There's your review. Helmet. Ladies and gentlemen.
That's actually why we invited Matt on.
Yeah.
Out review parts from the live stream.
Doing my job.
We did have a number of people in the chat say that we should do a May the 4th Star Wars live stream, and yeah, I feel like that's basically what we're doing. So just consider this a early May the 4th stream.
There you go. I saw that and I'm like, I'm not gonna call it to their attention yet. We'll see. You know. But yeah, there you go.
We have a lot of good Star Wars discussion that's already taking place, and I'm sure we'll continue to hear. I think we're almost an hour in. So, Luis, are you good to stay on for a little while longer there? I know it's getting later over there in France.
Sure. And just there is a time perspective, so it's just we can be any hour you want.
Okay.
Time doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters.
Yeah, Inception.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear. So I still had a few other viewer questions I wanted to make sure we got to, Luis, that people wanted to have you answer. So one question that someone asked was where you got your logo from. So is there any story behind that, or how you came up with that?
Actually, first thing is that I had a Donal minifig. So Donal is a clone from Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and I just bought a custom minifig which was made by a French custom guy, which unfortunately stopped. And I just really like that minifig, like pretty cool helmet. So I just took a picture, and why not make it my profile picture? And then I actually enter into talks and with the Lego group, and one of the policy is that you can't have a Lego copyrighted thing as your logo. So basically what happened is that just I subscribe on some kind of platform, and I just tell people what I wanted as a logo, and they just made it for me. So as simple as that. Yeah, I didn't design it. Sorry, you're disappointed, I know, but no, I don't have the skills.
I was really hoping it was your own design.
Yeah, I know. I'm really disappointing tonight. Sorry for that.
I understand. We also did not design our logo. That's things like graphic design logos. That's best left to the experts and people who know what they're doing. So if you can find someone who's actually a talented artist or can do that work well, then that's always a better option than trying to just mock up something yourself and hope it works.
That's a scandal.
What's that?
That is a scandal.
Okay. Yeah. So I mentioned Lego Masters earlier. We had someone ask if you had a chance to watch any of the Lego Masters shows. So either maybe the ones that are going in Europe or in the US. Have you been able to view any of those episodes in France, or is it not easy to get there?
I actually didn't view any, no search for it. I mean, I saw some teasers on Twitter and else, so it looked pretty fun, but I didn't have yet the time to look at it. And I know that there's going to be one in France.
Is there?
And yeah, they're
Okay.
going to make it. So I personally don't have the possibility of participating, but yeah, I mean, it won't be my type, really. I think of show. I mean, I will love to watch a couple episodes probably, but other than that, I just love watching done build and not like all the animation around it, because I know that TV shows are kind of flashy. Did I use them? I misused maybe an English word. Let me check. Sorry.
No, you got it. You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
A little flashy.
Flashy. Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
That makes sense. So they're doing one in France now. Yeah, I'm losing track. It seems like, especially in Europe now, it's just like one country after another. They keep announcing a new season, either a first or second season for it.
Yeah, well, the US was more or less the lab, and then they just see the success it had. So, let us just do it too.
There you go.
So you're pioneers.
Well, I think it started in I think the UK had it in Australia before the US. So I think Australia is just starting the second season. Actually, I think the UK might be getting a second season as well, if I remember correctly. Like I said, it's hard to keep track with all the different countries and where they're at in the production of the show. But the US one here was very entertaining and very enjoyable. So if once it airs in France, I would recommend checking it out at least and giving it a try, because you might find it's better than you think.
Yeah. The only issue is that it will be in French. So, well.
So is that a problem for you?
No, just messing around a bit.
So what is the Lego community like in France? Then I think I'd seen in the chat some earlier questions about kind of conventions there. So it's always interesting when we talk to people outside of the U.S. To get kind of what their local community is like. I know it when we've been, John and I go to shows in Europe, we've had a chance to interact with some great French AFOLs over the years. But for you, what's your kind of interaction with other parts of the Lego community there in France?
There's actually a pretty cool Lego community online, which is French. So there are like more the teenagers or very young adults, and then there are more the elder, like 30, 40 years old. So
really old people.
Like, not that old people. I don't want to get people unsubscribed, please. And so there is a kind of a hole between the two. And other than that, there are a couple conventions. There are actually lots of conventions in France, much smaller than the one in the US, or even in Germany, because in Germany people are pretty active too. But there's still a pretty decent community there. I mean, there are good and bad times as always, but yeah, I have many friends. So it's pretty cool community still. And we're French, so that's something I really like about the French Lego community, is that we use lots of sarcasm, and it's not something that I get to do with, for instance, Matt. Like, I know that sometimes I do comments on the Discord of Empire Log, and I know that I should maybe shut my mouth, and I just restrict myself. Well, with the French, I just we're bringing French, so we just go ahead. That's pretty cool. But other than that, it's much more smaller community than the US, obviously, but still pretty impressive one.
I like how you keep making references to the various parts of French culture there and how that impacts your approach to the community.
Yeah, it's just how things are. And well, you like it or you just dislike it, but sometimes I notice it can be hard for non-French to get it, so that's why I tend to precise it, and I try to not make it too much into my videos, because, well, I have Koreans, Americans, Canadians watching it, so I'm not certain they can get it.
You don't want to overwhelm people too much.
Or no, it's just that they may take me seriously, like, you do sarcasm and you just wait, you say that? Yes, but that was sarcasm. I mean, any French people will have got it. Well, yes, but I'm not French. Yeah, fair point. But so yeah, it's just like in French you can be pretty rude sometimes. Like you appear rude, but in fact it's just sarcasm. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to dive into those conversations because we're going far too deep, and I'm going to just mess up myself. I'm just digging a hole. I just love doing that.
There you go.
I'm gonna
We
get that.
won't make you talk about the French culture any longer.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I did think it was interesting. You mentioned earlier, so there's kind of this almost like a divide or separate parts of the community between like the teenagers, like T-Falls, younger people, and the older A-Falls. So do you see that when you're at a convention, or is that mostly just like an online thing where kind of online they have different communities, or how does that play out?
Yeah, online you can see a clear difference. So generally there are websites or forums for older people, and for younger people there are just Discords and YouTube and Instagram. You can clearly see the divide. But in convention they just meld together.
Now, I'm an old person, so I've never actually used Discord before.
No.
I've always wondered. I've seen it becoming more and more popular, though, and it seems like Lego community and other communities that use it. So, what would you say is kind of the advantage of like Discord and the way that that's used in the community? If maybe everyone else already knows this, but you can enlighten me.
Oh damn! You're just putting a heavy weight on my shoulders. Well, Discord is a very sophisticated. No, I should be paid actually for saying that.
We'll try to get them to sponsor in the future.
Well, Discord is pretty. You know Slack maybe.
Yes.
Well, then it's better than Slack. And to just exchange vocally with people, it's much easier. To just organize various channels by themes is also easier, and you also don't have to like 10,000 accounts or 10,000 passwords, and it's much easier to switch between different servers and else, and just to handle your contacts. Yeah, I mean it's just so easy for me at least, and yeah, I'm not pacing that. So just so people know, it's just my honest opinion. So if you prefer Skype, if you prefer Zoom, I should actually say go to meetings and else. There's actually a law in France where if you say one product, you have to say all the brands so that they are all equals.
Interesting.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll keep that in mind. We'll see if we can do that. Every time we mention Lego, you've got to bring up Lepin.
There you
I don't
go.
know. I'm not a lawyer after all.
That's good. Brian, do you use Discords for various fan communities or various things?
I got dragged into it. Well, because people ask me all the time, like, Brian, do you have a Discord for, Bricks O'Brien and everyone can talk and whatnot? And basically, it's its own forum. And a forum, as you probably know, requires a lot of moderation, depending on the crowd, a lot of moderation, and it can be as comprehensive or as bare bones as you want it to. And for having a server, it takes, for me, I want to have it a certain way and make sure that, all right, everyone's going to be pretty, behaved most of the time. And it's a lot of work, especially if you need moderators and you need people that you can, rely on to be there and all that. So I've never found a reason for me to have a server personally. But in terms of the contact to contact, people talking to each other, like, it's great. And it's usually how people do these streams is via Discord. And there's a whole overlay that people do and all that, because it has video, it has voice, and there's different channels you can go into. And what's actually really cool is when I play like Jackbox with one of my friends, he will broadcast that himself and not have an audience with him. But, I can click on that and see just his screen. And everyone else in my party can too. So if there's like 10 of us and we're all messing around, we can all just watch him. And that acts as if we were all in front of the TV watching a thing together. So the thing with Discord is it's very comprehensive. There's a lot of things that you can do with it. It's a matter of if you're using it for just talking to people, in different ways, or if you're having a whole server. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of Lego communities out there, but it's not like a subreddit or something like that where you can anonymously or without having an account browse it and just see what's going on. You have to potentially be invited to it or have a link to it, and it's a bit more private. So I'm not a part of any on Discord. I use it very, very sparingly. but I know it's very, very good. I
So
know.
sort of a tighter knit community, sort of not so anonymous.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Mike, who's on here often, the Cool Factory, he has one for his whole community there. There's one that's an unofficial Bricks O'Brien server that I'm not on. I just let the kids have the run with it. They go with it and have fun. But, everyone has their own sort of way that they run everything. There's all different channels, and it's very, very comprehensive. But yeah, if you guys were to open one as Beyond the Brick, you would need a lot of moderators on that, and that's a lot of headache potentially. So
I guess that's why we haven't done it yet.
yeah,
You just need
I don't
the
do
good
it.
boats also. Boats.
Yeah.
Robots? Bots? Yeah.
Oh, bots. Like
Bots.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
bots.
spams and
Bots.
stuff and things like
But unfortunately, some of those the younger ones out there, they know how to bypass them. They know all the tricks.
they're too smart for you, Brian.
I know that those whippersnappers, they know all the tricks.
Well, I'll keep that in mind then. Joseph Zawada in the chat says that's he appreciates your advice for playing the Jackbox games.
Yeah, you need a pretty good internet connection, but since you're not streaming it to like the internet in general, it's just like, to a couple of you, it's pretty good. And Discord is very aware of what's going on in the world and knows the needs of the people that use it. So they've actually ramped up their infrastructure and the features pretty heavily in the past couple of months. So they're very, very good at what they do and how they're running the ship. It's a great app. I just don't use it very often.
Well, now that we've given them all this free advertising, we got to get them on as a sponsor.
Yep, I need a big Discord sign right here. I'll use it every day, every meeting, everything. Bam, right there. Make it out of Lego. I don't care. It's fine.
Matt, are there Lego Discords that you're involved with and all? What kind of parts of the community have kind of embraced that for the you've seen?
Yeah, lots of the online communities like Arlox, Rebel Lug, Infernal Lug, Empire Lug, all these lugs, they all, I think, use Discord primarily, which is great. There's no cap limits. You could have everybody in there. You can give people different roles, so only certain people can see certain chats, which is nice. But it is entirely a complete headache. It's very useful though. I do have one for like my own, and I basically only just use it to let people know when a new video is out. So there's a way you can essentially tag everyone in a notification. That way they get the message, and then they see a video's out or any important news like that. But I also have been using Discord just with my other friends outside LEGO community for just like gaming and stuff like that. It's great. It's a nice free software, and I think everyone should have it. But like Beyond the Brick, who knows how many people are going to have in that server?
Yeah, I can already just feel my head compressing from how many people I have to time out and ban.
You need a roster of at least 50 full-time employees just to constantly moderate the entire thing to be a complete headache.
Well,
so how many people of Rebel, how many people are in Rebel Lug? Because I feel like Discord is good if you have like a group of like 50 people that are scattered everywhere. So how many people are a part of that?
So I'm Empire Lug.
Sorry.
Empire Lug, so I'm not the exact number for them. I think they're somewhere around like 50 or 60.
Okay.
I know for us, we're around maybe like 40 or something like that. So it's useful for getting information and very effectively out to people and stuff like that. But it's very popular amongst the younger community for LEGO, that's for sure.
and it's actually pretty easy to manage. I mean, I personally thought the same at the start if I was to open a Discord server, that, I will get like tons of spam, etc. But it's actually pretty easy to manage. I mean, we have, I think, more than 1,000. I don't really know people on my Discord server, and I mean, so far I think that 3 people in more than a year have been banned because, people are nice. They can be nice. Yeah, sometimes.
And there you go, John. You can clip that out. The Discord discussion on Beyond the Brick. There it is. Not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored.
Brian, you're just here to make the cuts and
Right. It's the audible timestamp, like Joshua. Or there you go. Make note. Put it in the doc. Give it to John. There it is.
we've gotten this down to a great system now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Well, sometime maybe I'll check out some Discords. In quarantine, you're supposed to be trying new things, learning new skills. So maybe that's one thing I'll have a shot at.
Yeah, it's great for talking to people. I already talk to enough people as it is, so I'm like, I don't use it that often. It's fine.
You're good with how you are then.
Yeah, socializing. Like, come on. No, we don't need that. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm just gonna sit here and keep building my plane. That's what I'm gonna do. That far.
That's a hidden side set, you said, right?
Yes, it is the probably haunted phantom ghost fighter plane something. Because it's all haunted stuff, which I always appreciate. I really like this skull guy. This guy who's the pilot here. He's got boots on and he's got a happy skeleton face. That's pretty cool. And he's got a bandage. Yeah, bandage. It's a really cool mix up on the skeleton.
Lego has made a lot of skeleton variations over the years with the different themes where the skeletons were featured as characters and then just like skeletons kind of placed in the background of sets. So they've had a lot of cool variations on that. There's a lot of things you can take that, a lot of directions you can take that in.
Lego has finally realized how much people love spooky stuff, and they went all out with Hidden Side and then like the minifigure series before that, Monster Fighters. So they're really treating people who love Halloween pretty well. I've grown an affinity more toward Halloween in the past couple of years, so I'm loving this whole thing here. Oh, it's El Fuego, as Doc Sampson says. His name is El Fuego right here. So thank you, Doc. Appreciate the calling me out publicly on the live stream.
It's good to have you with us, Doc.
Yeah, of course. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
So, Louise, another viewer question we had for you, and anyone can answer this, was just looking for someone said they were looking for some basic tips. I think it was in reference to building. So if you can start with that, but if you have any other tips related to YouTube or anything like that you'd like to share, feel free to do that. But are there any like build tips sort of related to the mocks you've done, or way you use certain parts or parts you like to use that you would recommend to people to try out more of?
I personally don't have like favorite techniques. I mean, in my latest construction, I use like 3 different techniques and I just improvise each time. And one of the things I can just say is that even sometimes like you're just stuck and you don't have the pieces to advance, the pieces that you want to advance, because you can't use, like you are used to use a certain technique and you can't use it anymore, even if you need it. And so you order new parts. And what I will just recommend you is that, no, just use and invent a new technique with the pieces that you have, and that's how you will get like very fancy and very cool things actually. So constraint and lack of pieces sometimes is very good for creativity. That's just a general one, but I just love it.
That's a good tip. Yeah, sometimes it's not always the fact that you need unlimited bricks. Making do with the bricks you have on hand and making something cool and creative with that is certainly an impressive feat in its own right.
Yeah, and just one another, which I really like, is that you just take one random piece that sometimes it just happened. I go to the Lego store and I just say, hey, why not buy that piece a lot? And then I just come back with my Lego room and just say, why did I bought that one? I don't know what to do with this one. And so you just, with that piece, decide to do a certain mock. And so you just decide to how you can use it, and then from there you just develop the entirety of the mock. It's a pretty good way too. So those are not techniques really. If you want Lego techniques, there are cool Instagram online. I don't know where it is, in fact, but there are pretty good ones. I'm not a professional at all in that.
Give a shout out to the newelementary.com, which is a fantastic site in the AFOL community. There are others out there. One of my favorites, and they have really, really great talented builders who post on there showing off ways to use certain pieces. So that's New Elementary online. If people haven't checked that out, really, really cool stuff on there. Matt, I saw you racing your car around there. Are you finally realizing that racers is a better theme than Star Wars?
I think I'm finally coming to the realization that this car might be the best that I've ever built. I mean, look at this. This is like bringing it back to 2-year-old Hot Wheel days. Like, it goes so fast. This is better than the Boba Fett helmet by far. Not even close. Not even close.
You can't race the Boba Fett helmet around on your table.
Let's try it. Let's try it.
You could if you really wanted to.
Matt, I have very bad news from you. You are banned from Empire Log now.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
now he's going to have to go to Rebel Log. He got out of Empire Log.
He's a traitor.
Let's see. Look at it. Out of the water. It's gone. Yeah, this thing sucks.
Wow.
my money back.
That's going to be a trial, be certain.
Here's a question from Justin in the chat. Luis, have you taken on the challenge of building one of those the tensegrity, however you pronounce that, the kind of mind-bending Lego chain builds that that has taken the Lego world by storm recently? Have you seen those online?
Yeah, just flooded with them. Yeah, that's very. Like the first one was very original. Yeah, it's very nice. And now, yeah, just don't show me that anymore, please. So no, I didn't build it because I don't have all my pieces yet. So
You have such disdain for this thing. I saw one. I don't need to see any more of it. I'm done.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. But like, if you do all the same, it's just like I bought a Lego set, so it was pretty cool
I
experience for me.
did see one that was the slave one, though. I'm like, that's pretty good. That's a pretty
okay. Well, good, cool variant. Sure.
Yes.
Then.
It's the same, innards, but now it's got Star Wars, so it's a little cooler.
Not bad from a Marvel fan.
Hey, zing! I have the hype horn here, like a zing button, but it won't work here. But I would play that right now if I could. Pretty good.
You almost got a special one of a kind Bricks O'Brien sound effect, but not gonna close enough.
Well, I can hear it on my end. That's all that matters. So there's that thing. Yeah.
Here's Mid Bricks in chat asking, how long are we doing this for?
72
Brian,
hours.
To that?
What?
How long does the live stream go for?
72 hours or until the wheels fall off, as I like to say.
There we go.
Breaking records, baby.
We usually go for roughly about 3 hours. So we start, if anyone's just joined us now, thank you for joining us first off. And we start at 1 p.m. Eastern time here in the U.S. Every Tuesday. So we usually try to go for about 3 hours. So we're approaching about the halfway point here probably. So still lots of time. If anyone has questions for Beyond the Brick, for Brian, for Matt, the Brick Wiz, or for Luis about Republicattak, feel free to put those in the chat and we'll keep an eye on that. And,
lots of time to kill. Lots of time. We have nowhere to go, so keep them coming.
We're streaming until someone comes in and gives Matt a haircut.
Oh, we might be here for more than the 72 hours. Yeah,
I'll have a full beard by then. Well, yeah.
That's exactly right. So, what do you think of the build, Luis, that you're doing? It's a little spaceship build.
Yeah, now I've switched to the set with all the minifigs, and it just reminds me when I was a kid and with all those Lego City that I had, so it's pretty fancy. Like, I just love building it. It's just like, you get some memories back and stuff like that. And, well, I know that I'm going to destroy them afterwards for the pieces, but, yeah, it's another story. It's fine so far, and I have enough boxes to stay for 72 hours. So it's fine. Also,
okay, so you're in. That's all that matters.
yeah, I also have Boba Fett waiting me in the back. So,
Boba Fett, the Lego set or actual Boba Fett?
No, the one you built.
Boba Fett is standing just outside of frame there. You just can't see him.
Boba Fett, where?
Yeah, he's just waiting, and I'm going to place a bounty on you because you're a traitor. So be careful.
Ooh.
So I want to make sure we get people's questions answered in chat. So somebody asked, what's your favorite original trilogy Lego set, Luis? And we can have everybody answer this, but we'll start with you.
Start with someone else because I need time to think.
Oh, okay.
Like,
There's
so many.
I got a good one.
Yeah, go ahead.
As a non-Star Wars fan. So one from my childhood that I really liked, and it's an all-encompassing set, meaning that you don't need to buy extra things to go along with it. It's all one complete package, and I forget the set number, but it's the original Jabba sail barge that came out in 2005, 2006, and that had the sail barge, the skiff, the Sarlacc pit, Jabba, Leia in the outfit with Chewbacca. It had every single character that you could want in there. I'm pretty much, except for like the driver of the skiff or something. And I think you had a Gamorrean guard in there as well. You had so many different figures in that set, and it made for like a perfect play set and perfect for what it is. And especially when you're looking at Jabba's sail barge that came out more recently in 2013, it's a much bigger build, a lot more comprehensive, but that's what, $120 retail, and then the skiff is another $25. So you're talking $150 for, more pieces, of course, but it's not the whole complete package there. So I really, really love that set. And I think it holds up from my childhood. That might be nostalgia talking a little bit there, but I think that's a good Star Wars set. Not the end all be all. The Millennium Falcon Ultimate Collector Series is the end all be all, but my favorite from my recollection and me looking around my office right now. Yeah.
Solid answer. Matt, did you have one that came to mind?
Well, I'd say the end all be all was the Star Destroyer.
Wow. Yeah.
I might be a little biased, courtesy of Beyond the Brick and Lego, but that's like my holy grail Lego set. But in terms of like nostalgia, when I was a kid, my parents really Christmas would buy me obviously like a Lego set. And over a couple of Christmases, I would just get a bunch of those dropship, the Imperial dropship ones that came with like 4 stormtroopers. And I would have this massive army as a kid, and I'd play with them and, pretend I'm like some sort of hero or something. But that was like the most fun time playing with the dropship. But I think the Falcon UCS set is phenomenal, but I think the Star Destroyer is just a little bit better. So I don't know.
Wait, okay. So real quick, short summary, why?
to the Star Destroyer over the Falcon?
Yes, the Star Destroyer.
For me, the Star Destroyer is more iconic because it's the because it's the first thing that you see. It's the freaking symbol of devastation from the Empire. And that's why. Now, I will say, though, the Falcon has way better minifigures. Not even close. But for me personally, I'm a fan of the Empire. I like military stuff in general. So having a Star Destroyer in a like big display case, like that's golden for me. But I still love the Falcon. Don't get me wrong.
Interesting. I can get on board with that. It is the first thing you see in the movies. I just always hear so many people talking about the Falcon and how it is the Disney made a ride out of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
But your point is a fair point too.
Yeah, for sure. It's all. I mean, it's in the end of the day, it's all entirely just up to whoever.
Sure. Oh yeah, of course.
We have to let Luis settle this now. You're the tie-breaking vote on which one is better.
Actually, I have my own opinion. So, yeah,
you are allowed to have your own opinion.
Yeah, I actually have two opinions. So, first one is, as a kid, like which one was my favorite, and that was the AT-AT motorized because I had so much fun with it. So really the AT-AT. But now today it's the Slave One UCS, which I just love so much. Just so fancy.
Good build.
That's it.
So I guess that the Slave One will just try to target the Star Destroyer and put an iron bomb on it, destroy it, and then target the Jabba sails barge. Instead, if obviously there is Darth Vader in the Star Destroyer, in which case we are both doomed, Brian. Yep. Sorry.
That's okay. Jabba's not much of a threat to begin with. He just knows the right people.
Well, yeah. I'm not going to contradict that point. You're right.
As long as he can walk faster than a turtle, Jabba should not be a problem.
Which that's debatable. I don't know if that will happen, but
I like how thought out this is. You've all got hardcore reasons for why each set is better.
And you're not getting out of this question without answering. What about you?
See, my problem is I think Star Wars sets, there were so many of them that I've never bothered trying to collect too many of them. So I haven't bought a lot of Star Wars sets over the years. I built the UCS Millennium Falcon on the 24-hour live stream a couple of years ago, which was super fun. I enjoyed that. So that's probably my favorite because I have had the chance to build that. But I was never a Star Wars collector. It was always much more of the Western and Pirates line, themes like that Lego made. That's what I grew up playing with and still am most drawn to today. So I think that comes from the fact that I didn't really grow up watching the Star Wars movies. I didn't see them until I was older. And so I think I didn't have any of that sort of ingrained fandom in me that wanted to collect all those sets as I was growing up. So I don't really have an opinion on this particular question. Sorry to disappoint everyone.
I am disappointed.
But the UCS Millennium Falcon was a fun build. It's just so massive. You got to have a lot of area to display it. So that doesn't work out so well. But it is very cool and impressive. Let's see, Matt. I think somebody asked which of the busts or the heads was your favorite. Have you built all of them yet?
No, so the only one I have built is the Boba Fett one. I have the Stormtrooper still sealed. I'm going to save that for a live stream, but this is the only one I have so far, so I can't really give you my favorite. So yeah, sorry to disappoint, but I mean this one's great. It looks great. So
there was a question earlier because we're all having a lot of opinions based on when we grew up, our what we had as a kid. So what makes us give us that perspective? What is our age? I believe my best friend Craig asked that a while ago. How old are each of us?
I can start. So I'm 24. If people have ever wondered that.
Okay. I'm 24 as well.
Well, 21 then. I know I'm often said 30 or even 25, but no, 21. Sorry.
You get 35.
In a suit. People just tell me 30.
Have you guys seen Luis's picture when he went to the Lego store months back? He was wearing this full suit, French top hat, umbrella. I swear the dude looked like he was 40 years old. It was
great. Man.
Yeah, but I am 20 actually. I'm almost 21 in a couple months.
Yeah, I will try to take this as a compliment. Like, see through those sentences.
He just it's your incredible sense of style just really elevates you, Luis.
Oh, thank you. Just so you know, Matt, that's what an actual compliment look like.
Ooh. Yes, sir. I'll keep that in mind. Don't worry.
He's just trying to teach you all these important life lessons.
Yeah.
So here's a question, Matt. For how long did it take you to build your most recent build, which I think you've just finished up right on your channel? What your really big build that you were working on. So how long did that take? And for people who haven't been following that over there, you can give a kind of an overview of what that's been.
Yeah, sure. So about a year ago, when we heard that Clone Wars was coming back, and we got that first trailer from Celebration, I decided that my next project, which would be the biggest project, would be Fort and Axis. Like I said earlier in today's podcast, this was something that was featured in the first 4 episodes. From the Bad Batch, like I said, I'm a fan of Star Wars and military, and so this sort of seemed like the perfect thing for me. I can combine military stuff from real life with Star Wars, which are essentially my 2 favorite things. So about a year ago, I started it. There's been about 30 documented episodes on my channel, 30 weeks of building. We also had a little bit of a delay in the beginning, but it did turn out really nice. A little bit of information. I think it's well over 90,000 pieces. This was actually a big collaborative build as well. I was able to get instructions from Brick Vault for the ATTE and gunships and for other models like that to populate the mock. I was able to create a lot of really cool aesthetics with the buildings, the medical bay, the barracks, which look really, really nice. And I think if you're a Clone Wars fan, I think you'll definitely be able to appreciate it. But it took a very long time to build it. Like I said, a year after I started, I finished it. I maybe finished it 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was really fun, and this build challenged me in a lot of different ways. My builds before had been pretty standard, but this combined everything. There's a lot of smaller details that you have to look forward to in the mock, and I also had a lot of fun making the cinematic, which you guys are seeing right now. I just put some really nice, cool, epic Clone Wars music with some nice B-roll of all the stuff on screen, and I think it came out phenomenal. I'm crossing my fingers a Brick Fair, Virginia will still happen because that's probably the only place I'll be able to take it. Maybe Philly Brick Fest, I'm not entirely sure, but I want to get it out there for you guys to see. And this was an amazing, fun series to do. The mock is, I think it's 6 gray base plates by 4, which is about 7.5 feet by 4.5 feet. I officially have almost nowhere to sleep in my room now because I don't have a studio. I had to take the bed frame off of my bed and make as much room as I could, but it was well worth it. It was well worth it, and it was a ton of fun. Huge thank you to everybody who did join me on that series. And if you want to go and check it out, there's a playlist documenting everything. You guys can check out all the stuff with that. But it was a fun build. I hope I get to display it at some point soon.
Yeah, I'm certain that there are lots of people which will be more than delighted to help you in storing it.
Yeah, Yeah, I could only imagine. I mean, the amount of stuff on this mock is crazy. I mean, we had obviously sponsors. We had Brick Stuff as a sponsor, Minifigs for You. They both did incredible jobs helping me get some cool stuff and products in there. Over 200 minifigures. It was an amazing, fun build, and I really do miss it. But as always, time to move on. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
It turned out great. So yeah, it's great to see you continuing with the large scale builds like this. Hopefully, Brick Fair does happen because yeah, that'd be awesome to see it there in person. If you can, did you build it with that in mind of bringing it to a show?
Yeah, so each of the sections are modular. All the buildings, the walls, everything like that comes apart in sections. So as long as I don't drive like a lunatic and hopefully hit minimal potholes, the mock should reach Brick Fair. Hopefully 90% built, and then I could just fix it there. But yeah, it was always planned for it to go somewhere. So that's a very helpful tip for you guys too. If you're planning on bringing a mock, make sure you design it so that it's modular and you can bring it somewhere easily too.
Right. You can always tell if it's someone's first build or not based on how modular it is and how easy it is to move around and set up. When we're talking to someone at a convention, it's always the first time attendees who are like, "Oh yeah, this is just one giant piece and it's been a massive hassle to try to figure out how I'm going to move it around." But you quickly learn that modular sections that you can take apart and move around is the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes your life so much easier. There's a lot less stress going on. Just modular. I mean, honestly, modular just in general is the way to go, because even if you're not going to a convention, you might need to move to another house or move your apartment, or if anything happens. So I would suggest just building everything modular. It makes it so much easier. No headache. It's just great.
We had another question come in. So Brian, I think you can have a go at this. I feel like you'll have some good advice for people. So there were a couple different questions. One was a good set to buy under $150. Somebody else wondered the best Marvel and the best Star Wars set that they should get. So is there anything that kind of hits all of those check marks that you can recommend between, well, one Marvel, one Star Wars?
Both under 150 or combined 150? You set the stipulation. I don't know. What? Say it again.
Separate. So each of them can be under 150. Yeah.
Well, I got to pull up the Shop at Home website. Jeez. All right.
Things are getting serious now.
They are, right? For Marvel's complex because a lot of the sets, it depends on what you like. Do you like the comics? Do you like the movies? I like the movies. The comics I've never been able to get into because there's so many of them and a place to start and all that. So for that, it gets tough. And then Spider-Man is its own thing now, entirely separate really from Marvel in general. Marvel sets, in my opinion, have not been the hottest in terms of the movies recently. So picking one set that exemplifies the Marvel universe or the movies very accurately, there isn't one that really comes to mind. Like the Endgame sets, most of them aren't in the movie and don't have stellar minifigures. The only one that really does is the Hall of Armor, and that's 60. So there isn't like a big ticket Marvel set under 150, one end all be all right now available. You know, hopefully there's something down the line as more movies come out, as the universe gets expanded a bit more in the public eye. So I would say Hall of Armor for now as one to get. In terms of Star Wars, I am incredibly unqualified to answer this question. However, I'll do my best.
That will not stop you.
Yeah, no, not at all. When it doesn't stop me, no. So you could save all your money for the 501st Battle Pack. Just go buy as many of those as you can. If you have had the experience of seeing the Mandalorian, the Razor Crest is 130, doesn't come out till August, but that's a great one under 150. For that same price, you could get at least two of the busts between Boba Fett, Stormtrooper, and the TIE Fighter pilot. What I have seen covered by BrickWiz and others has been a great look at those sets in general. The Yoda I've heard is very good, kind of creepy, but good. Other than that, yeah, I'm drawing here. So the other, you two, the more qualified Star Wars heads can talk about that a little bit.
Go ahead, Luis. You start.
Yeah, so the one which I really like and which is out right now is from Star Wars Episode 9, and it's the X-Wing, like the orange one. I mean, it's pretty expensive for what it is, and at the same time, I had fun playing with it and just like exposing it, and I just like it a lot. So that's just my personal opinion on this.
Real quick, you could also, if you really wanted to, get a bunch of the Yoda holiday bag tags at $6 a pop. You could buy at least 100 of those.
Oh, you're 100. Okay, got it.
No, wait. I'm not doing the math.
Yeah,
You buy a lot.
that's
Sorry, never mind. No, go ahead. Sorry, Brick. Sorry.
That's money well spent right there, though.
Well spent. Well, put them all, list them all on Brick link. Yeah, that's the one. Do that.
Let's see, Star Wars set. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If you're a Lego Star Wars fan, I'd be saving your money for those 501st sets. Those things are. I mean, the Mandalorian battle pack, for whatever reason, sold out so fast. I didn't think it would, but I mean, this Clone Wars 501st set's gonna. It's gonna be impossible to get your hands on it at one point. So if I were you, I'd save your money for that. If you want more display pieces, I think 2 of the busts would actually do really well. Especially if you have like a nice computer setup, put it right next to your monitor. It's just a nice display piece. But 501st Legion clone set is probably the way to go and save up for it for this August video.
So expect this summer tons of videos. My big army of 501st Legion. Just expect that.
As soon as
All over
August
the
1st hits, within August 1st to August 14th, you will see at least 3 dozen 501st Army videos. I guarantee it. And I will probably be one of them. So there you go.
There should be a competition to see which of the Lego YouTubers can buy as many as quickly as possible to get the videos out. Who will it be?
David Hall has been practicing for this for like 10 years.
Yeah,
He's
it's
got
pretty fun.
experience. I think whatever final number David has should be cut in half just because he has that experience.
Right. He's actually contacting Lego directly to get a whole pallet sent to his house. I don't know if you guys know that or not. The entire pallet's worth.
Pretty fun.
That's not confirmed, but it wouldn't surprise me.
No,
Not
not at all.
That's
Not at all.
pretty far away from the levels we were back in 2011, I believe, or 2010. I remember that at one point I had 6 more clones than David All, like Solid Brick Studios, because we were making that kind of competition. And then he just bought, I think, 500 ARC Trooper, and he was just like, okay, I just stopped. But yeah, that, like, we were at what, 210 clones on that kind of armies, and now like, 5,000, nothing, peanuts.
exactly.
You can't keep up with him.
It's impossible. There's no point in trying. It's impossible. That being said, I do have to jump over to class real fast. It's still unfortunate to do that stuff. So thank you for having me on, gentlemen. It was a great time. We'll catch you on the next one. But yeah.
For sure. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Everybody go check out the Brick Wiz online if you haven't seen Matt's work. You can keep up with all his latest builds and see the finale of his massive build that he was talking about. So lots of cool stuff over there.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Talk to you later. And we still got questions coming in the chat here. So the Brick Force asked a question for us at Beyond the Brick. Are we planning to come to any conventions in Germany like Brick in Bavaria in the future? So Brick in Bavaria is a show that I've always heard good things about, and I've met people who go there every year. I hear it's a good show. We don't have any plans to go there this year. Who knows if we'll go to any show this year, the way things are shaping up, and things seem to continue to get canceled. So we'll see if that works out. But no plans for Brick in Bavaria. But we've consistently had people tell us over the years that it's a good show and that we need to go there. So it's kind of always one of those shows that's in the back of our minds. We kind of have it on the calendar of shows every year, and one of these years it'll work out and we'll actually make it over there. But apologies to our German fans who we have not been able to make it to the show yet there.
Yeah, you actually don't only have German fans. I mean, you have like French, Norwegian, Polish, Croatians, Austrians. So it's pretty diverse too.
Yes,
Fans in
yeah,
the
we do
USA.
have what was that, Brian?
Fans in the USA.
Yes, we have one in the US. We do have a very diverse fan base, which is really great. And that's one thing that John and I love to do. Like when we're traveling to international shows is meet up with fans in different countries because we have so many viewers from kind of all over the place. So I think our latest analytics, last I checked, it's like 70% of our viewers actually outside the US, which always surprises me that it's such a large number are based outside the US. But it's cool then when we go to international shows, we have a lot of people that we can meet that are fans there. So that's always fun. We've never gone to a convention in France yet either, which we'll have to do at some point. Do you have one you would recommend, Louise? Is there kind of one main French show every year?
Yeah, it's one which is called Fanabrique.
I've
Summer
heard.
break.
Okay, that's the one I've heard the most about.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've never been to it. I was planning to go to there, but then there was the COVID-19 crisis, and so I didn't got to be there. But it's pretty good, and well, they have good food, so obviously it's a good convention. I mean, that's criteria number one. I mean, yeah, obviously.
The good food.
Yeah,
That's the only reason you go to shows is just for the food.
obviously. Well, you want to go to the show for Legos. I mean, what about? Come on, serious stuff like right now.
I like it. You know that is especially when we're planning what international shows to go to. That certainly does factor into it for us. And even different cities within the U.S. It's like, well, we got to find the best restaurants, near the convention, whatever it might be. So that's a good point. Food is a very important part of it.
Yeah, if you come to France, you will have to go to certain places. You will have to. Otherwise, I will track you down. I'm sorry,
well, you got to give your recommendations then. What are your top recommendations that people need to try when they're in France?
Well, first one. Well, obviously, currently it's a bit closed. But when you can go is you have just in front of the Eiffel Tower, you have a place which is called the Trocadero. And just there, just in front of it, you have a cafe, which is salon thé, a tea saloon. That's the literal translation, which is called Carrette Paris. And it's really, if you really want to have that French atmosphere, like you just go on the terrace with the sun, you just order some coffee and French pastry, and it's just like you have all this view on the Eiffel Tower, and it's really fancy. It's expensive because it's Paris, but it's pretty fancy to just stay there a couple hours, just enjoying the sun and the view. And also you have be careful because there are lots of places. So just stop me whenever you want. But there's also a very nice place at the Arc de Triomphe. You on the side you have an hotel which is called Raphael, which is very old French style. So it's a style, I will say, from the 70s. And so they have all this interior which is very old fashioned. And if you go on the top, you can go on the top and just also take a coffee and you will see the side of the Arc de Triomphe, and it's pretty beautiful to see. And then you have a great view on all over Paris, and it's pretty lovely to see. I just really like it. So you want some more?
Top recommendations. I know I'm taking note for next time I'm there, so thank you.
Yeah,
Ryan's excited to book his trip to Paris now.
Yes, that's even more incentive for me to go to France.
Yeah, there is only one issue. It's the people which live there. But other than that, it's great. Just remove the people, and it's great.
Just don't talk to anyone the whole time you're there, and it's going to be a great experience.
Yeah.
There's a question here real quick from Izzy asking, why do you have Christmas lights up? Just to get that out of the way. So I have these lights back here. I actually got these at Target after Christmas, 90% off, and they're actually controlled by an app, and I can change them to be whatever I want to be. And I can actually shake them if I can do random colors. There we go. And as I shake my phone, they all change colors. So I could just, be whatever I want to be. If I'm partying on a Friday night by myself, just do that. So it's pretty cool. I could do this literally all day. But yeah, so I have that for any given situation, whether it's Beyond the Brick or anything else. I can make them all red, do whatever. So yeah.
That is awesome. Why are we talking about Lego when you've got that sweet light setup behind you?
Well, right. I try to give as much variety as I can with the live streams, and all the gamers have the LED lights and stuff everywhere. I'm like, I'll just put Christmas lights up. It's fine. So
we should maybe we should give that a try for different videos around different holidays, and then we put lights on the background.
I mean, I love it. Like Halloween, I go all out. So these lights up here go off, and then just the white light from my monitors illuminates me, and the whole background is purple and orange. And man, I go for the holidays. Yeah, I go all out. You're
a true Lego gamer then.
Yes, exactly. Well, all the Lego I channel into these streams here. Everything else is all gaming. So that's where I've made my piece. I'm like, all right, I'll feature on here and do that. But yeah.
Make sure to check out Brian's gaming streams on Beyond the Brick Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern time. He's playing the Lego Star Wars games right now, so very, very appropriate for this stream.
Yep.
Once he finishes those, who knows what he'll do next?
Maybe I'll just sit there and talk about Lego Mario for another 4 hours. You know, whatever comes up. What was the name of the Building Techniques site that you mentioned earlier?
Oh, that was the New Elementary. So the website, if you just Google New Elementary, I can't remember if I think it's just newelementary.com. It's either New Elementary or thenewelementary.com. But if you just Google that, then you can find it. Yeah, there's lots of really good tips. One cool thing they do over there is they keep a close eye on anytime there's like a new piece that's released in a set coming out, and they'll write articles about that and kind of here's how you can use this piece. Here's interesting ways that we've done it. And they have a lot of really talented builders who contribute to the site, so they're able to do super creative stuff with the pieces. So if you're looking for kind of advanced building skills or ways to use pieces in a different way, then highly recommend New Elementary. They do great work online. They also do cool building events. I think most of the contributors, or a lot of them at least, are based in Europe. And so they do events at different European conventions, Lego conventions, where they'll have like build challenges and things like that. I don't know if they do any at US conventions or not. They might, but I know several of the European shows they do it at. So there's John is scrolling through the website there. You can see some of the various sets and pieces that they've taken a look at in some of the contests. Definitely recommend checking them out if you haven't yet. It's cool stuff over there. And actually, I should also mention, I believe they have a Patreon. So if you're a fan of them already, or if you like what you see over there, you should also support them on Patreon, because sites like that need support to continue going. So it's always great when you can do that. I know they're one of the Lego websites that we support on Patreon. So it's always a good thing if you're able to do that. That's my recommendation of the day there.
There you go. There's a lot of interesting questions on. Well, okay, so one of them from Decent Lego Productions asking any news on the UCS Republic gunship. Considering we just got the A-wing, I'm going to assume no. No information on there yet. That's actually an interesting little topic there. Considering the A-wing just got announced, it's coming out May 1st. When would that come out? Because you have to assume it's already been designed or something at this point. So where would we be at with getting that released? Any thoughts, gentlemen?
Maybe September. I heard 2021 personally. So
that sounds close enough to me.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
It's so hard to predict though. When they'll have a set coming out, and obviously they try to keep that all as close to the chest and behind closed doors as possible. So I just kind of let the stuff come out, and when something gets released, I take a look at it and think, oh, that's interesting. Except for the Mario set releases. Obviously, that's the one date you have to keep in mind.
Right. Yes. August 1st, 2020, a day that I will continue to look forward to until there's something else after that. Very, very excited for that.
I've seen several people ask what our all-time favorite Lego set is, and I feel like we've answered this question so many times. We need to install like a policy of like, we will only answer that again if you like donate to Creations for Charity or something,
right?
Like that first, and then we'll answer that question again. Otherwise, you can watch one of the 100 other videos on Beyond the Brick where I've already answered that question. So we need to come up with some kind of policy like that. If you want to hear what our favorite set is.
Or you just say, answer what is the worst set that you hate the most. Just as a change,
Just as
right.
Well,
fan of a Lincoln Logs kit they have out there. That's a good one.
I just love the ATST from episode 8. It's just such a lovely set.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Galador being my all-time favorite theme, it's hard to choose a worse set.
I see you're a man of culture.
That's exactly right.
Good stuff indeed.
Oh, let's see. So Cooper asked what my personal favorite mock that we've covered on Beyond the Brick is. That's always a hard question to answer. I always tell people I'm super drawn into like historical, military builds. One of my all-time favorite is a Battle of Waterloo mock that we covered several years ago on the 200th anniversary of the Battle of Waterloo, which I just had a tremendous amount of minifigures, super detailed, historically accurate. It was like 20 feet long with all the sides represented. So that has always consistently been, still is one of my favorite builds we've covered. But any big historical layout is always going to be what I'm most drawn to. So yeah, any big like World War II layout, that sort of thing. And recent stuff we've covered, like what Brickmania does, like the giant Missouri battleship. So that stuff is all of my favorite. So if you want your build to be covered by Beyond the Brick, if you build a massive historical layout, the chances of us covering it go up considerably. That's my piece of advice for anyone going to a convention.
The favoritism is strong.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
But no, you guys have put a good amount of effort into diversifying the amount of things that are on the channel. A lot of it, a lot of people build Star Wars and there are historical mocks, but yeah, you have a lot of variety on the channel. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. We try to. I mean, there are definitely things we cover where I have like no idea what the source material is for the build or something, but it's a cool build, so we cover it. It's something, yeah, like personally I would not have been drawn to, but there's still a lot of things we try to cover just to have that diversity in there. Maybe like Nintendo stuff, for example. I don't know if anything about that, but some people do.
I saw you struggle through the 4 divine beasts that someone made out of Lego in Breath of the Wild one time.
Yes.
I'm like, man, I wish I was there.
That was before I had started playing the game, and so that's a really good example of what I was talking about. Like that stuff, that video's been very popular, and I thought it would be because the game's popular, but I never played it and didn't know anything about it, so I just kind of let them go for it. And I think they did a good job. That was I believe some German builders who did that. If people haven't checked that video out, Breath of the Wild build, it's very cool. Luis, do you having watched Beyond the Brick videos over the years of the stuff seen us cover? What are some of your favorites? Are you drawn mostly to the Star Wars stuff, or are there other things you enjoy watching as well?
Surprisingly, the Star Wars stuff. Very surprising, original, I know. But yeah, I really love the one of the mock, which is one of the recent one, which this guy made, which is he made a Star Destroyer, a custom one, but he also made a Mon Calamari ship, and I just absolutely love it. It was a great discovery.
Yeah, so that's a guy who comes to Brick Fair, Virginia every year, and his builds are always incredible. He's rare in that he not only has like great looking builds on the exterior, but super detailed interiors, which we found is really helpful to just make a build pop and make it very cool. So yeah, we've tried to feature his work whenever we can. He does really fantastic stuff. Oh, here's the interview this is the Mon Calamari that you mentioned here. So this is his latest build that he had at Brick Fair just this last year.
Indeed. And we can just perfectly see you with your red shirts.
Yes.
As always. Or even if it's just funny because sometimes I just see videos of conventions and I just see a red shirts and damn, okay, we got one there.
Yes, you spot us in the crowd somewhere.
Yeah.
So here's a question that I meant to ask one of you guys of the Hanlon brothers. How many of you guys have attended the virtual Brick World? I did not get a chance to stop by because through what you sent me, Joshua, the information that you said was there was not there, and I'm like, I guess I can't get in. Well, sure.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought it would be.
No, it's fine. So I ended up having a lot of other things to do as well, but I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't know what your experience was if you ended up stopping in there.
I did. So I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the format worked really well. The technology seemed to cooperate fine. Like one of my favorite rooms was the Great Ball Contraption Room, where they had several different people at different places around the world showing their personal kind of GBC layouts that they had set up in their houses. And the video quality looked good, even with all these different people involved. Everybody could just go into the Zoom room and sit there and listen to whoever was showing the display. The way that they were doing the video, they could get super close up to like one of the GBC modules and show it. And there were some of the builders like taking off parts and showing how they had done different things. There was various Lego Masters contestants like Boone and Mark were doing a Q&A, so that was fun. They were able to have people like turn on their Zoom video and then ask the question or show off. A lot of kids in there showing off little builds that they had done. So I actually thought, from my perspective, that it was a great success, particularly thinking about the price. It was $5, and you could have like your entire family watch for $5, which I think is a really good value to still be able to talk with all these builders and kind of get their perspective, even though it's just online. There were lots of rooms and presentations. I didn't have time to check out all of them, but from everything that I saw, I thought it was great. And I would not be surprised at all if virtual cons continue even once like the physical conventions start back up, because there are still, even with all of the conventions that happen in the US every year, which is a tremendous amount, there are tons of people who still can't make it to a show every year just because they're too far away or too busy, whatever the reason might be. It costs too much. So I think virtual cons can definitely fill in that gap where, you know, people who can't make it to a show and want to save some money and just pay that $5 to get, maybe they have a bunch of friends over and everybody watches it together or something like that. So from my perspective, I thought it was great. I haven't had a chance to talk with like Mark Larson or anyone from Brick World to see kind of from their back end and how that all went exactly. But as a viewer, I enjoyed it.
Cool. Awesome.
So yeah, if anyone else in the chat had a chance to check that out, feel free. Let's see. Ben says he was there. Let's see. He says it was difficult to see all the rooms, especially since one GBC iteration took 3 hours already. So I guess if I'm reading that correctly, you're saying like because there was like so much, like the GBC itself is so long and there was so much to see there, then it was you maybe didn't want to leave and go check out the other stuff. But that's kind of a problem no matter at a normal show as well. It's like there's so, like, you walk into Brick World Chicago, there's so much to see. You know, you could spend the whole time watching the GBC basically, but you want to check everything out. So no matter how you do it, there's always going to be things pulling at your time and wanting your attention.
Depends if you're told. If you're told, that's a clear advantage.
for the GBC?
For the GBC, sorry?
Or I guess when you're looking at displays, you're saying?
Yeah. When you're looking at displays, like. So it depends.
That's true. Yes, if you can see over the crowds, then you can see everything a lot easier.
Indeed. So life is finally getting fair, I guess.
There you go. It's equal opportunity in the Zoom rooms.
Exactly.
But could someone like go into the room and just like unmute their microphone and just start talking, or does everyone have to manually do it, or does someone else control it? Do you know?
So I believe it was left up to each person who was kind of just like running the room. So like Boone and Mark for Lego Masters, whoever was, there was like I think some of the GBC people were kind of keeping an eye on moderating everything. So it was just people in the rooms kind of keeping an eye and moderating what was going on, and they would mute and unmute people if like somebody needed to ask a question. For the most part, though, it was just everybody was muted, and you just listened to whoever was presenting their builds.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see more shows do it. I think if they can make it work. Now, yeah, you obviously have to have a lot of people with like a decent webcam or some kind of camera that's good enough quality, and so there's a lot of back end logistics to get that set up. But I think there's definitely opportunities for that.
Pretty fancy.
Zachary Thompson asks, how much are the conventions? So a typical convention, like to attend in person, I want to say in the US is around the $10 to $15 range. If you just go as like a public attendee, it'll usually be something like that. Does that sound right, Brian?
Well, for the conventions I go to for gaming, like PAX East is a convention where there's tens of thousands of people there at a big convention center. It's a bigger scale, and that's like $65 a day. So it's quite pricier. With attending publicly for Lego conventions, it can be pretty like pretty not overly pricey, but yeah, like 60 for the attendance and whatever. And you typically get other things that go with it if you're there for a couple of days. So you get like a shirt or a goodie bag or something like that. So that about makes sense. If you're going just public, you show up for just the day or the afternoon or whatever, like, yeah, $10-20. It's like, yeah, that totally works out. That sounds about right.
Right. So let's see. Golden Light Pictures asks, if they do any more virtual cons, would we consider doing virtual interviews with the builders? Which is basically what like this live stream is. I mean, it basically be sort of like what we do with the live streams where we have people on and chat. So it's hard to do like the same type of mock video that we do at a convention online, just because the limitations of technology and because we aren't there in person to chat with the person. So that's really difficult. But we definitely are planning to continue doing live streams and having builders on and guests to talk about stuff. So we'll continue doing that. But it'd be hard to get like a good quality product out of like a virtual convention display.
And then Duncan on Facebook is like, where does the money go to for a convention? Luckily, it goes into running the convention. It goes into running the con and then helping the staff, keep tabs on their lives. Because obviously it takes a lot of effort and time to run a convention at that scale and all those thousands of attendees and organizing potential volunteers and activities and speakers and all that. Like running a show is like not something I've been heavily involved in. I would like to get experience with like knowing the logistics of it, but everything I've seen and heard on different scales is just like, it's crazy to run one of those things. And it's a massive headache all the time, but it's better if you have a good team. And that's why you pay money to go in. And then Brick World Virtual, yeah, you pay $5 to get in there, but then that also means that when Brick World Chicago does pop around, okay, or whatever Brick World convention, there's going to be, more things to do there. It's funding, it's all of that combined, and the sponsorships that help with that too. Is a whole bunch of logistical stuff, but not that I'm qualified to talk about that. I haven't run a con, but
No, it is a tremendous amount behind the scenes, and I feel like a lot of times people don't appreciate what it takes to run these shows. I think it's very easy to be like, oh, something went wrong, I just want to complain now to whoever runs the convention, and why can't you fix this? But there's a tremendous amount of work that goes on behind the scenes at LEGO conventions or any convention in general that you don't see as just kind of a normal attendee. So there's a lot that they have to take care of, whoever's running the show.
Totally.
So I always try to be very understanding with anyone who's running a convention, because I know they've got a lot on their plate when it's going on. And so if you just try to work with them, then you can usually figure something out.
And yeah, Alyssa says running a convention, they're full-time jobs. And like some people, they run shows and they go multiple locations a year. And that's multiple venues you got to talk to, multiple staff at those venues, making sure everyone is safe, all of that. And yeah, renting those spaces can be tens of thousands of dollars as well, right, Horned Owl? Like I've been to conventions here in New England that literally take place in a hotel lobby. That's how dedicated some people are to making a show come together. And as long as people are coming together to, celebrate, whether it's anime or Lego or whatever, that's what's important. And if you have an issue with a show and you think, oh, well, they could do this better, well, why don't you do something about it? Say something, be like, hey, I can bring value to this show. I can do this. I can do that. Instead of complaining about it, why don't you go do something about it? Just saying.
Yeah, no, that's a really valid point. That's actually how like Mark Larson, who runs the Brick World shows now, first got involved, because he just was like, well, here's something I can do. I can help with this. And then just kind of gradually got more involved with the Brick World shows over the years. So yeah, I mean that these shows also rely heavily on volunteers. So if there's something that, if you're enjoying the show and you're a fan of Lego or whatever it might be, and you have an idea to make something better, then always bring that up. And the convention organizers are usually very happy to help improve the show if you can pitch in.
Because you got to think like these guys are thinking big picture, making sure, all right, is this person there run to do this thing? Good. And then that's it. Where they have to worry about everything else too. So if some small details aren't attended to, it's like, all right, well, their attention can't be on every little detail of every little thing. That's not humanly feasible for one person. So those little details, you could probably hone your skills and lend a hand potentially. So that's my incentive for all of you, and myself included. Be better, do better.
Luis, that's just a real tip for just any moment in life, not just Lego convention.
Right, exactly.
Just generally speaking in life. And we say in French that you are never better served than by yourself. So if you want to make something, just propose your help and put your hands into the mud.
just like with Lego as well. With Lego, with
fair
life,
point.
whatever it is.
I liked Joseph's comment in chat on the virtual con. He says it could also be good for people who have sensory issues, because that is a problem that a lot of Lego conventions have with the massive crowds. If people who go don't do well with crowds and that sort of thing, then the nice thing about a virtual con is you can just kind of join from home. It's a very casual experience, so that's also another kind of improvement there, or so someone it could help.
Yeah, totally.
Luis, so I know you mentioned the one convention you were talking about earlier in France. Have you had a chance to attend many conventions over the years?
Actually, I attended only 2 conventions. First one was in 2012, Beaufort, Alabama, and second one was back in September, in Bavaria. So yeah, I wasn't really into conventions because I had a pretty busy agenda and I couldn't make them most of the time. Yeah, I mean, Fanabrik, which I talked to you about, have been reported. For instance, I can't make it because it's now in October, so that's just really annoying things. But well, that's just life.
Have you thought about the Scareback show in Denmark, attending there?
Yeah, I thought about many shows, even one in Norway, or actually, Beaufort, Virginia. I already have took the plane tickets. We'll see if it works out. But for attending, so yeah, I'm just seeing, and we'll just see. Being dynamic, being agile. That's
that'd be awesome if you could make it to Brick Fair. That's a great show. Did you say you went to the one in Alabama?
Yeah, in 2012.
Wow, how did you end up there? That's a unique show to make it to.
Yeah, I was just still very young, and I was just hey, I saw YouTube videos of those conventions, and I just asked my parents, hey, I want to go there and just show stuff around and just meet people. And my English was even more bad than it is today, so you can just imagine how awful it was. But it was pretty fun, and went there for two weeks, and it was my first time in the US. So like everything was bigger, and I was just like, wow, as a kid. So pretty fancy.
I can't imagine you as someone from France, and then the people in Alabama are like, who's this French guy here? And you're just walking around, you don't know anything. You're like, what? Alabama, of all the first places you can go to, what a very American location for you to be at. Congratulations.
Yeah, that reminds me. One of the first time, we took a cab, so from the airport to the hotel, and so we saw some codes, and like I don't remember exactly what we were saying, but what I retain is that basically the driver was saying, "Oh, look at those hamburgers," basically, and yeah, it's just I know that I don't want to make generalities or else, but it's just like I just. Land in the US, and I just fall on this guy, which is going to be my cab driver, and he just tell me that right away. Just let me time. Like I'm jet lagged, so please. Go slowly with me.
No, I'm surprised you weren't offered like a deep fried Twinkie the second you stepped off a plane. But that's a very
yeah. But at the same time, like people are really. That's also something I really liked is that people are so. So maybe it's not your experience on day to day, but like very smiling. And in France, you don't smile naturally. So when people smile at you, like this guy wants to sell me something. Like he definitely wants something out of me. And like people were just like smiling and all the time. So it was pretty fun.
I will say that's a Southern thing. Up in Boston, everyone, myself included, walks around like, "Are you going to kill me right now? Don't kill me. Don't do it." Like, no one smiles for any reason. So, yeah, I've noticed that, like, down South Florida, that whole, yeah.
Yeah.
If you come to Indiana, we'll smile at you. We aren't like Boston.
No, we'll scowl at you.
Well, Boston seems like a lovely place still.
Yeah. So, the thing about Boston is that, when there's, like, a snowstorm or like in a time like this right now, there's a big sense of like camaraderie, like, all right, we're all dealing with this snowstorm together. No one's going to be a jerk to each other. Let's just get through this. Here's your Dunkin' iced coffee and negative 20-degree weather. Let's go. So there's like, if you're from Boston, you're from Boston, and all the Bostonians take care of each other. It's a good time.
Yeah. I'm obviously making generalities, so it's not like.
No, you're right. You're right. No, you're totally on the mark. Yeah.
No, that is a good point though, Luis. I think it's interesting. That's something John and I have found when we travel to international shows, is because a lot of Americans are sort of more outgoing to just strangers or someone they've never met than a lot of people outside the U.S. are. So then, from an American perspective, in a lot of countries, and actually France is one of the places where we kind of experience this. It feels like people are being like purposely not nice, or maybe are not being very nice to you, when in reality that's just kind of how they approach interactions with other people, and it's not that necessarily the case.
Yeah, even in the language. I mean, in French we have 3 styles of language following the person which you are talking to, and like you just say you, like your boss, like your president, you just say you, or like your friend, you. And in French we have 2 separate terms, and so we really have like those straight lines which are defined, so some distances. While you use you all the time, so like you can casually talk with your president, for instance. While in French, you have to talk langage soutenu, for instance. It just
So it
French
changes.
language.
Yeah, no, that's all very interesting. Yeah, it's good to be aware of these things when you're going to different Lego conventions around the world, so you can try not to offend people.
Yeah, pretty useful.
What food? I know you mentioned earlier we were talking about how food is an important part of going to Lego conventions. Did any food stick out to you in Alabama? Because so John and I were just at that show a few months ago in January at Brick Fair, Alabama, and there's this like hot chicken place that's just like a couple blocks away from the convention center that is incredible, and we loved it. It was the first time we had been there.
Well, honestly, what I remember is like how many restaurants just propose hamburger, like and French fries, and French fries are actually Belgian, so it was just like why are they called French fries? They're not French. And yeah, but I don't have like something in particular. I remember like like for the breakfast you could get muffin, like you get muffin for the breakfast. Sure. Yeah, get muffin for breakfast.
You say sure. Like it's some like weird concept. You're like, yeah, sure, you get muffins for breakfast.
Yeah, sure. That's perfectly normal. So like, or like that's the second time I traveled to the US, and I just order. Hey, I want please. I would like some pancakes, and I would like some eggs. So I was waiting for like just like in front, like so you have some small portion like that. So I have my pancakes there and my eggs like that, and instead I have my pancakes and my eggs like that. So yeah, that you have to get used to it.
Go big or go home. That's the American way, baby. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
We try to treat you right here,
Yeah, sure.
You get a burrito, it's going to be the size of your head. You get pancakes, it's going to be the size of your torso. That's how we do it. That's why these lights sparkle red, white, and blue, baby. That's what they
Sure.
There we go.
I don't contradict that. Just even Legos, like
right.
Because in 2012, like there weren't any Lego stores in France, so like US was seen as the golden land, like tons of Lego stores, tons of Legos, just the dream. And seeing all those Legos like crazy.
I love the one store in Paris, which there's more than like one Lego store there, right?
Yeah, there are actually 3 now.
So I forget which one, how to describe which one this is, but it's the one that has like the windows are full of like really big built models and displays of custom builds.
Yeah, was it like in a wide open area? There's a big roof. And, okay, that's there's actually a good restaurant nearby.
Oh man, I wish I had known. See, this is why I need to get all your recommendations next time before I go. But no, that store is actually one of my favorite Lego stores of any of the ones we've been to. The displays there are super cool, really well done. Sort of on the level of like the New York City store, the Rockefeller Center store in New York City, that type of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Definitely. So for people which want to get pieces just in French Lego store, just to go to Levallois-Perret, which is in the west of Paris. They have great pieces choice. Just in case you go there.
Yes. So it's always good to have good places to go to pick up pieces.
Yeah, and it's much more quiet, so it's better.
Yeah, I actually have 4 Lego stores in my relative area, all within like
Oh,
40 minutes of each other. So,
yeah, just 4, nothing big.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And
Like
people want
French
another
big-
one like 20 minutes north of me. They want one up in New Hampshire. It's like, all right, well, I guess the more the merrier.
Like French biggest city have 3, and you're just one normal American city 4.
Yeah,
sure.
right.
Yeah,
It's just
makes
Boston.
sense.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no big deal.
I wish I had one closer. My closest store is like 2.5 hours away, which is unfortunate. So I
Oh,
don't.
finally, a European-like city.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm not like Brian.
I'm living the life of luxury here.
There are, however, five stores around Chicago now, with the one downtown one and
Wow.
then 4 other ones kind of in various places around the city, which is pretty insane for
Yeah.
one.
Wow.
But it gives a good opportunity. I was talking to some, I believe it was Swedish Lego fans one time who came to Brickworld Chicago, and they went out to the Six Flags amusement park, and then on their drive back to the convention from there, they stopped at like all 4 or 5 stores, Lego stores on the way home, on the way back to the convention from there.
Yeah, that's perfectly understandable.
You got to take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah.
Any let's see, we got Doc in the chat still. Let's see, what any other good questions coming in here?
I don't know. What do you consider a good question?
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, like, it's kind of
Let us take a glass of wine and have some philosophy now.
right. Talk about life for a little while. Life and Lego.
Yeah, just smoke a cigarette and just.
I can't. That one I cannot endorse. Wine, some vacation juice, a little bit. You know, get some Welch's grape in a nice wine glass. We'll see.
Doc Sampson actually asked Luis how much wine is served at a French Lego conventions.
I actually never made any French Lego convention yet, but I actually made between Lego fans some like Lego Storm, like we'll do all the Lego stores and just come back and forth and just have fun. And answer is a couple bottles.
Everyone has like a sippy pouch on hand and a backpack, and they all just right from there.
Oh,
What did
you can drink in public? I think so. We don't.
No,
do that.
at the convention, it's fine. It's fine. It's all
Oh,
good.
what is
oh.
big Lego websites in France? Is there kind of one or two that people like French fans go to for news, or
Yeah.
people gather online?
Hot Bricks, which is Brickwell. I don't know if I suspect that you know maybe him.
Yes, yeah. Mhm.
That's the biggest one, we'll say. And there is a big forum which is called also Brick Pirate. So that's the 2 main ones, honestly.
And then, of course, go to Beyond the Brick for any other Lego-related news.
If you speak English,
That's
Well,
true.
you can translate it.
We
all
do.
right?
We've done. I think even some French. I think we've done a couple in French actually with some builders who couldn't speak English, and we had some French builders translate for them. So sometimes if there's a builder who can't speak English, we'll have somebody else who can speak both languages, and they'll translate for them. So we did a lot of that at the show in Japan when we were there. We've done a lot of that at the show in Portugal. So we get a lot of like French builders and Portuguese builders and who can't always speak English at the show in Portugal. So the years we covered that, we did some videos like that.
well, there is also another possibility, which is that you teach French to all your followers.
That is, you're supposed to be learning new languages in quarantine, right? So this
Yeah,
is the time. That'll be the other live stream Brian starts.
I was
outside-
going to say that's going to be the post show today. Is me teaching French, actually.
au-delà de la brique in French.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, we'll get right on that and see what we can do with that. Maybe Luis, we can do a collab. You come on Beyond the Brick and you teach essential French terms for when French fans go to Lego shows in the US.
Yeah, naturally. and you will just have also to change the color of your shirt, because red is associated with the English, while blue or white is associated with the French. So you'll have to choose.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Yeah, because you like historic battlefields, so what you'll do.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, sorry to bring up Waterloo with you on the stream here, Luis.
No, it's fine. It's a very fine, Allied victory. Where actually, because it's fun fact, but English forces made actually, I think, 19% of the Allied forces. So it's actually an English victory, true, but it's also Prussian, Dutch victory.
A lot of people involved. There you go. Don't get me started talking about military history, or Brian wants to come in with a Mario hot take and put a stop to it.
That's just me falling asleep in the chair.
So you just to know a bit, you have background, or it's just a passion?
No, so I last year finished my master's degree in military history. It was actually through the University of Birmingham in England. So spent a lot of time studying mostly European military history, which is my main interest. So that's why when we travel to Lego shows in Europe, John and I will spend a bunch of time going to historical locations. So 2 years ago, our trip, when we went to the Scareback show, we went to Europe early, and we started actually in Paris and spent some time there, and then rented a car and drove out to like Normandy and saw the like World War II history there, and then over to the Somme and Verdun for the World War I history at those battlefields, which I absolutely loved that. I think it was so fascinating. Having studied a lot of those places extensively, being able to travel to them was super cool. So whenever we do Lego travel, we try to add that on and visit other places.
That's pretty cool.
The most annoying thing of that trip was definitely the fact that, especially in like smaller French towns, everything closes so early. So like we were in one town, and the only place open, it wasn't even that late. It was like 8 o'clock or something in the evening, and Subway was the only place open in like the entire town. There was one Subway.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't have like transportation strikes.
Yes, right. I've had friends who have had to deal with that while traveling in France, and that's not fun. No, I've never had to deal with that, which is nice.
The force is pretty strong with you.
There we go. But yeah, always enjoy that.
So with that degree, what would you want to, I think I've asked you this maybe on the 24-hour stream, like what would you want to do with that?
If you ask me on the 24-hour live stream, I probably don't remember because, I'm so tired on that. I've always been fascinated by museums. So kind of any military history related museums are kind of where I've always thought I would end up if I ever moved on from doing YouTube stuff. That's where I would kind of look. So that's another thing we visit a lot when we go places is military museums or museums in general is something I really enjoy. So I'd like to work at some place like that, like the Imperial War Museum in London. I'll list off some museums that everyone should visit. So if anyone is, that's one of my favorites. The World War I Museum, which is in Kansas City here in the U.S., is really fantastic as well. There's also the World War II Museum, which is down in New Orleans in the U.S. So both of those are really, really great establishments. And then everything in kind of the Washington, D.C. area is really cool. I don't know about Boston, Brian. I'm trying to think. I haven't spent a lot of time in Boston over the years. Is there like major, what would you recommend in the Boston area?
It's not like the entire revolution happened here.
Yeah, no, I know. You do have that history. I'm thinking museums was what was on my mind. Was there Philadelphia has the Revolutionary War Museum now, which is relatively recent. But there is a lot of that other history in the area.
Sure, yeah. Like Double Katana just said, the USS Constitution, that's a great one. A lot of the history museums don't necessarily involve war. Like in Salem, Massachusetts, which is just right down the street from me, is where the Salem witch trials happened. Mm-hmm. And if you go there during October, you're going to be in for a fantastic time. Oh man. Like
that sounds good. Wow.
They go all out. Like that is Halloween town of the world. Like crazy. I love it. And Salem's a great city in general. There's like the Bunker Hill Memorial. There's a lot of memorials, but I can't think of any museums other than like the Elizabeth Gardner Museum that come to mind. But lots of memorial, and like if you're around this area during the summertime, you have to take the Freedom Trail. Like you have to do it. Like that is an absolute must. There's the all the graveyards in the city where there's massive skyscrapers, and then boop, just this one little bit of land sectioned off there. But yeah, I'm not a big museum guy in general. So like I went, obviously, when I went to Brick Fair, Virginia, Smithsonian, and all that. So I can't think of any off the top of my head. Give me like 30 seconds because I'm actually curious too.
No, that's fine. You're right, though. I think it's a valid point. You've got the Constitution. You've just got kind of the what's happened there in general is much more important than any museums they've set up. So
yeah, right.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, actually, one of which I really enjoyed was back in New York, which is the USS Intrepid. So it's an aircraft carrier, basically docked at New York. And if you just love planes, it's just like really incredible. And you even have a Lego aircraft carrier in it.
Yes, exactly. So I was just there in February when we went to Toy Fair in New York City. I was there with John and do you know Zusammengebaut, the German website, Lego website, Andreas? So he runs a big Lego site in Germany that covers like Lego news and that sort of thing. And he was there covering Toy Fair with us, and we went to the Intrepid, and yeah, it's amazing. I love it. There aren't a whole ton of aircraft carriers you can just kind of walk on and see the whole thing. So it's a super cool tour. They also have a ton of historical like planes. They have a space shuttle there, one of the space shuttles.
Enterprise, yeah, I think.
Yeah. So
and
it's
the Concorde, a British Airways Concorde, and you even have a submarine close by.
Yep. Yeah. Right. There's a submarine. So yeah, and they have the super cool, massive. It's like a 25-foot long Lego model of the aircraft carrier built by Bright Bricks, Ed and his team over there.
Yeah.
So they have in Boston for museums, the Museum of Fine Arts, Museum of Science, which isn't really contemporary art, the JFK Presidential Museum. That would be one you'd probably want to go to. The library is pretty cool. Lots of different museums, like the USS Constitution, like art museums, things like that. There's also like Plymouth Rock, which is very far from where Boston is and where I'm at right now. So no, Doc, I haven't been there. It's just I've always driven like toward Cape Cod and then went right past Plymouth, so I haven't had a chance to actually go there. I know it's a rock, so that's cool.
I remember visiting years ago on a family vacation. We were out there. The only time I've been to Boston was with my family. This was a long time ago now. And I think on that trip we visited Plymouth Rock. And yeah, it is just a rock. So it's one of those places that it's like everybody's heard of it. Well, in the US, it's obviously something you kind of learn about. But you walk up and it is just a rock. So there's not a whole lot of time that you can spend there staring at it.
Yeah, right. Like you're definitely better off, like, not to, I guess, brag, but like where I'm at right now is perfect because you can go right to Salem from here. Boston's 20 minutes away. Like it's very close to really everything. So if you wanted the full experience, I'm not saying you should make your way up to Boston once the world is back to normal, but if you do, the grand tour will be led by yours truly whenever you arrive. So
yeah, to Brian, and maybe he'd give you a personal tour.
Yes, exactly. I'll show you all the great Italian places to go, all my favorite spots. It'll be a good time. Quality content out of that one.
There's been a lot of quality travel advice this stream. I like it. I think we need that more often. You know, I think people, especially Lego fans, you're traveling to different shows around the world. You need that travel advice to figure out where to go and what to do, or maybe you just happen to be in a city. So I like it.
Absolutely. Alyssa said, hold on, real quick. Alyssa saying modern pastry in the chat. Now you can tell Alyssa might not be from Boston because modern pastry is where the Fairweathers go. Alyssa, I hate to call you out publicly like this. I have to voice that Bova's in the north end of Boston 24/7, 365. If you want Italian pastry, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning or bright and early at 6 in the morning, that's where you go. Bova's in the north end, not Mike's, not modern. Bova's. Just gonna leave that there. Sorry to call you out publicly again. Have to set the record straight.
Luis, I hope you're taking notes for when you're in Boston.
Bora.
Bova.
Bovas.
There you go. See, I make spreading the word internationally. That's what I always wanted to do.
Luis, what is the French equivalent of that? I feel like there's probably places in Paris or anywhere in France where it's like this is where sort of the tourists go or that sort of thing, but in reality, it's not as good as other places.
Oh, you have lots of that. There's a restaurant close to the Louvre, which I'm not going to say the name, but it's just like it's very pricey, and the food is just like it's really funny because there was a table with a tourist close to me, and we were just eating, and like to each meal, the tourist was just like, "Wow, this is wonderful," and it is wonderful for someone which never tasted French food, but like you know that if I go just into that direction where there is nobody which goes into the street, I will get better food. And it's really something which really annoys me is that Paris is becoming, and it's pretty positive at the same time, it's more an international city in the way that you have restaurants which are making pizza. I don't have anything against Italian restaurants. There are just many great Italian restaurants in Paris, but they just make cheap thing, and they make you pay a lot for what it is. So it's just like not quality, and it's just like a tourist trap, honestly. And I just say pizza, but you have that in just French food too, and it's just like you even have like those kind of restaurants which look very Parisian, etc. And when you go into the kitchen, those are actually like already made up food, and they just like make it hot, and it's not acceptable. I mean, it's just pricey, it's expensive, and just for tourists. I mean, if you go to Paris, you want to have like the real experience, not something which you can just buy online and get delivered to you home. And it's really annoying. So, yeah.
That unfortunately happens everywhere, though. Wherever there's a massive congregation of tourism, it's bound to happen. You get all the gift shops that are like, here are these cheap magnets that say Boston on it, but they're made in China. It's like, well, that happens everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
How many stores I've seen in New York City that's like, this is the go-to New York City souvenir shop every 3 blocks. I'm like, all right.
I guess I have to go to all of them then.
Right. Spend money. It's weird how they all have the same sort of like advertising style and art style and sell similar things, but they're all different names. I don't know how that happened, but
this is just like macaron or croissant, and you just like you call that a croissant. Sorry, you just repeat that, please. You call that a croissant? This thing, and when you look at it, I mean, it's just it has the shape of a croissant, but does it have the taste of a croissant? That's just a great question.
What does the croissant taste like?
And like a real croissant, at least for me, you have 2 variants. You have the variant with
went into a zone. You're like, a real croissant. This is it.
Matt Brian. Okay, we're gonna be here another 6 hours.
No, but you have the butter version and the non-butter version. I personally prefer the non-butter version. And I don't know how to say it. It's just I don't know how to describe it. I'm pretty bad already at vocabulary in French, so in English it's even worse. But it's just like, I don't know, you have this thing of it being fresh. And not like French cold, like some of those manufactured industrial thing, but like, I don't know, it's just like, I'm losing my French story.
You're so consumed by the taste of the croissant that you're like, I can't describe it.
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll use this excuse.
There we go.
We can just agree on this excuse. And just one fun note that you really need to know if you go to France is, I don't know if you know pain au chocolat or chocolatine.
I have had that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to say is awfully wrong, but that's basically a square croissant with chocolate. Okay, that's not what it is, but we'll say that it is. So just so that you understand. So be very careful because there is a sort of French civil war on how you call it. So,
okay.
So just say pain au chocolat when you're just in north generally, and if you're in south, you say chocolatine. So just be very careful on this. This is
right. I'll make sure I don't say the wrong thing around the wrong person.
Yeah. Just use the good term.
That way you don't get thrown out of any bakeries.
I I was actually in the south of France, towards Toulouse, and they say chocolatine there. And so Toulouse is where you have all the French aerospace stuff. And I just went into a bakery store and I was just say, "Hey, can you give me a pain au chocolat?" And I had immediately like the girl, which was just staring at me like that. And I went, chocolatine, please. And it's just, yeah.
I thought you were going to tell a story about how you got ejected from a bakery. I'm like, how did you get thrown out of a bakery?
Well, apparently it can happen. I mean, sometimes you just read some news article and those weird stories that happen to get printed into the press, and you get some weird stories about people miscalling it, and
Oh man, yeah. These are the important things that the French have to concern themselves with.
Right.
Yeah.
And it caused SJCFRS to have a $10 super chat USD. I'm so happy Lewis decided not to quit YouTube. I discovered him after the break-in video. I'm glad he's doing well. Well, thank you for that contribution. And yes, of course, happy to have him here and talk about his experience.
But mostly croissants, but also his experience.
Yes, travel tips. You know, this is the type of content that's going to bring in super chats, Joshua. I think we need an offshoot of Beyond the Brick or like Beyond the Cuisine or something.
I'm there. A travel food Beyond the Brick offshoot.
Yeah.
I'm there. You know, that's basically what. See, what people don't realize. So John does most of the behind the scenes, like editing the videos and getting the videos posted. A lot of my time with Beyond the Brick is dedicated to planning our travel, because we travel typically in a normal year, travel like 6 months out of the year, and we do these long international trips. So it takes a tremendous amount of time to figure out the logistics and that, and where we're going to go and everything. So I love that stuff because I learn more about it, and then we find cool places to go, and then we can help tell other people about it. So we do have our Destinations of History YouTube channel that's quite small still, but if people want to see interesting videos from some of the historical locations that we've visited, or us hiking the Great Wall of China, something like that, you can check out Destinations of History on YouTube, and we post those videos over there. So we don't do a ton of content. We kind of upload in like groups at a time. So I've actually got several videos from Morocco, Antarctica, Saipan, all over the world that I'm going to edit here soon and upload there. So if people want to see some of our travels and learn a little bit of interesting historical knowledge, you can check that out.
Hey, can you share the link? Because I didn't find it.
Let's see. John should be able to put the link in chat, or you can.
Yeah, thank you.
Can share it as well. Yeah.
I did watch you rewiew a cruise ship, and that was
There
great.
you go. Yes. So we did I did a cruise shortly before actually that trip when I was talking about when we traveled throughout France. We did a cruise and actually stopped at a couple places on the French coast, on the Mediterranean coast there, which was very nice.
And then Mike can report in from California with all the good shops that are out there. Isn't that right?
Yeah, thanks for
what? I was watching you guys the entire time, but I had like 2 business calls, and I'm on my official lunch right now, so I can join.
Okay, so now you're obligated to do food reviews for the channel. You ready?
What? What is happening? Oh my god, I just don't.
Well, thank you, Mike, for joining us and making me feel even more bad because I have the worst background possible.
Oh, dude, thank you, Louis. By the way, I just wanted to join and say you guys talked about it a lot on the stream, but I was baffled about the whole situation you had in the past. I sent a lot of like words of support to you, and that felt like terrible. So I hope you're coping well. I wasn't listening to the stream entirely, so I'm sure you said a lot of things on the stream, but I'm just saying from my personal perspective, I just hope you coped with that well, and you're doing fine now. I really hope that.
Well, thank you very much. Goes straight to the heart.
Yeah, thanks. Just wanted to say that. And also awesome content, by the way, so there you go.
Thank you.
That's right. Are you going to start a French food review channel soon?
No, didn't plan at all. But what I was wondering, it actually was following the lockdown, maybe making like a video visiting Paris, because I know that many people got their plans like canceled already. So maybe making like just a special video, giving a tour around for people to just, even if they can't travel or do something like that, just visiting Paris still.
Hey, that'd be awesome. I'd definitely check that out. Yeah, I do feel very bad. I think there's probably a lot, especially if it was someone's like first time trip to Europe or something like that, and it was canceled. That would be very unfortunate. So, hey, I think that's a great idea. You know, you can give your all your thoughts on the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, whatever people need to check out.
I feel like that'd be good for a lot of people to do, like showcase their hometowns and what makes it special, and especially because the Lego realm is all super international. So why not do a little showcase?
We all come from a lot
cool.
of cool places. I come from a town in Poland. I was born in a town in Poland that's about 1,200 years old.
Well,
that'd be interesting to see a vlog there, just to give you an idea.
My high school that I went to is the oldest school in Poland and one of the oldest schools in Europe.
Wow!
Ever, operating without interruption for like 1,000 years. That is true. That is fun fact. I went to one of the oldest schools in Europe.
I'm sure that fact weighed heavy on you, and you really paid more attention in classes because of that.
Maybe, but that was cool because we had actual catacombs. You were able to go to the basement of the school, and they had like historical pieces of defensive walls in there. And that was part of it. On the weekends, it was open as a museum, but on the weekdays, it was just a school. So school patrons were able to like visit that. But on the weekends, anybody could come because it was a historical landmark. That's pretty cool, actually.
If you misbehave, they threaten with putting you down in the catacombs.
I don't know. We had observatory too. We had actual astronomical observatory at the top because they had like astronomy classes back in like Renaissance days or something. That was pretty crazy.
The actually, Louise, on the most recent trip that the last time I was in France, in Paris, I visited the catacombs there, which was super cool. I thought that was a really crazy experience, seeing all that stuff.
Yeah, it is very much.
I would recommend that to people.
Can you still get lost down there? Is that a thing?
Normally, there are like areas which are closed to the public, so if you go through them, normally yes, if you're good enough or bad enough.
If you're good enough to get lost, you can. That's terrifying. Oh,
By the way, did you guys catch that donation?
Yes.
I'm not sure. Okay. It was a $10 donation from SJC.
Yeah, we were talking about how if that's the type of content that's going to get super chats, so we'll keep talking about food more often.
Oh, got it.
Oh, man.
Osticle said, "Hey, Mike, I noticed the Boba and the TIE Fighter pilot helmet. They are sick."
Yeah, I built them on my streams.
I'm sorry. Where can people see that stream? Where?
The cool factor.
Well, okay, gotcha. I want to make
so this is the funny story, and I think I can say that on the stream because I purchased those on Sunday when they came out, and Joshua, my favorite Joshua and John, they actually Lego sent me those to review for you guys, so you will see extra videos on Beyond the Brick. But I was like, I bought them on Sunday. I started streaming, and then the package comes in, like a random package out of nowhere on Monday, and they open and they are like right there. So it was funny because I was like, yeah, I have now a bunch of those. So you can expect more videos on Beyond the Brick if you want to see a closer look at those. But yeah, those are great. I really love the building experience. They're small. Kind of like I was hoping they would fit my shelf here, but I was hoping they would be small enough. They are, which is great, and I'm happy they're not too big. So there you go. And I think I still have Stormtrooper to build at some point in time. There you go.
We'll have some extra content on those on Beyond the Brick.
Yes, but you guys can. I think I just emailed John today, and you guys can expect content on your, I think, Facebook. We're gonna post something on Facebook in the future.
It's hard because when Lego sends us sets to review, there are very few details they send along with it.
I know. Like you just
no.
I didn't even get the notification until like the very last day because they said like DHL has a package for you, and I was like, oh wait, that's usually Lego, and like. You guys didn't send me anything like later. I was like, what is it? And I'm just holding those busts in the hands, and I see all the other YouTubers getting them for reviews. And I was like, whoops. So that was pretty funny situation.
Yeah, we do our best to work with you. Hopefully it'll work out fine.
It will work just fine. I'm gonna make the best content for you guys. I promise that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Jeff McElwee had a $2 super chat. Saying, Brian, were you thinking as above as below?
Wow.
What? By the way, welcome, Jeff. Jeff is a very known viewer to me on my channel as well.
Don't hit Brian with that deep of a question this late in the stream.
Jeff, do you speak English? I don't know if that translated very well, but I guess I'm above. soaring as high as the clouds will take me at any given point and hoping for the best.
He probably speaks better English than I. It is very fine. Very, very fine.
What are you building, Luis? I see you building something.
Just spacings. Like,
Okay.
tiny... Why not?
Ooh, nice. I like the shape.
Yeah, I just follow the instruction to better destroy them afterwards. For making a space center.
Frisch Skywalker says, "Are the donations for lunch money?" I mean, I had Chipotle earlier, so basically
They are. If we
Wait.
get donations, we will we'll buy Brian lunch every stream that he's on.
No, that donation goes to the CEO of Beyond the Brick to pay off Boone.
Well, hey,
Remember that video? The April Fool's video?
To pay off Boone's headphones that we got him.
Exactly.
There it is.
Exactly.
Right.
There it is.
well,
No,
well,
we would be happy to sponsor Brian's lunch every stream that he does if people are donating money. So
listen,
donate.
I'm not saying people have to donate, but if you want the more hot takes you want from me, the more food needs to go into my
know
stomach.
that the food fuels the hot takes, so
We should
for the
time it
viewers
right.
win in the end.
We should time it right so that when he streams games on Thursdays on Beyond the Break, he gets like a lunch delivery, like right in the middle, like.
Right,
And
the
tell the
more-
courier to smack the door like real hard.
the more support that there is for the live streams, I think, at least for me when I stream, the more incentivized I am to go. And it's not even like with donations, it's just with people in the chat. Like anyone who tunes into my streams, I know E-Logger in the chat does very frequently. He knows, like, if people are just being, cool and very talkative in the chat and it's just a good vibe and whatever, then, I'm incentivized to stream longer. And then food absolutely helps. So if you want to fuel the fire, that totally helps, but it's not required ever.
You have to super chat pizza to Brian, remember?
Yes,
that.
Mike knows a little bit about super chatting. He had some amazing support for that live stream he did the other day.
That was amazing, actually. Yeah, like I'm so happy because, like, I'm a small creator and every bit helps, and I have some amazing fans helping me out with upgrading the studio or getting more sets to review. It is amazing. Like, so it's as a small creator, I can't really say enough good words to appreciate that support you guys are giving me. And Brian, you also supported me, so thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome, sir.
I wanted to troll you and pay you back, sending like you $1 donations for like an hour on a stream. I think I'm gonna do just that.
Oh man,
Jeff
Somebody was
clarified,
asking.
did you see Brian? Jeff clarified his comment in the chat there, so you can now tell people what he was talking about.
wait, what? Where?
Right there, you go.
Oh, movie As Above, As Below movie about being lost in the Paris catacombs. Oh. You
I remember that
uncultured
one.
swine.
I remember that movie. It's a horror movie. I kind of like it. Is it called the? I think the American version was called The Canal or The Canals. And it was about a group of people going to the catacombs of Paris and getting, of course, decimated by monsters and stuff. That was a good movie. I remember that one.
Paris is very romantic.
This time of year.
Big Brick Bros like, the more donations, the more bovas Brian can buy. Listen, hey man, you said it, not me. The more I will make content out of all of it. I'll take you all. Listen, I'll involve Lego somehow to justifying it be on the channel. You want me to give you a tour of Boston? I got you.
Yes.
Done.
Should get one of those big backpacks for streaming. Just walk around Boston and stream all the time.
Yes, and then have someone run
I
into
saw
me
people
on
do
the
it on
streets.
Comic-Con,
Yeah.
which is cancelled this year.
Sadded Dream says, I like how Republicattak's just chilling while doing some Lego stuff. Keep up the good work, eh?
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go. Actually, doing real Lego builds.
he does
Yeah,
the real
right.
work. We just blabber and chat and try to.
Yeah,
do
yeah,
this
you're
and
actually playing the French ones for once.
Craig is asking, do you guys have a Lego minifigure of yourself? I know Beyond the Brick does, right? Do you have those on hand anywhere?
Yes.
stuff. Bring
you
it
can
up on the screen, John.
we sell them through Boone's website, boonebuilds.com. So Boone ships them all out for us. So if you go to boonebuilds.com, you can buy our minifigures there. So check that out because there's some great ones. You have the mic man, cameraman,
There we
either
go.
whichever one you prefer. I don't have a favorite, obviously.
I think you guys just thanks to Boone you were able to restock them, correct? So
Yes,
they're
so
available.
Boone handles the logistics of all of that.
Nice.
for
Really
And I can
cool.
also
I mean, sweet.
confirm There's a, I don't know if I can zoom in. I probably can't zoom in on it, but there is a Bricks O'Brien Lego
Ooh,
minifigure.
Oh,
Okay.
where
That
did
not
you
many
get that?
people have. So they're not like on sale yet. But if you want
I
one,
want one.
okay, well, hit me up. We'll talk. But it is out there. That is my EZ button that I hit when I do my playthroughs and whatnot. So it's a pretty cool character there, custom printed, obviously. So I mean, I like him. So Eli likes his too. So ringing endorsements there. How about
Pretty awesome.
either of you? Do you guys have custom minifigures of yourself?
I do not. I should get one.
No, I love too much clone minifigs to make myself a custom minifig.
There you
I
go.
don't like too much money into clones.
Studio Brixton asked, do you guys have a favorite theme other than Galador, of course?
Mario.
Named mine, so I guess that rules me out.
For me, it's Chima.
Wow, Amanda Class, I see.
I'm man of class. Chima and Fabuland, please.
There it is.
Yeah.
Definitely Mario, even though I don't have it yet. Otherwise, it would be Harry Potter. The newest
Oh.
Harry Potter stuff is great. So that's where my bias is.
I think we should. Go ahead, Luis. I'll let you answer, and then
Oh,
ahead.
mine is pretty obvious. I mean, just
Star Trek.
Star Wars.
yeah,
Yeah,
Star-
obviously Star Trek. Sorry, never mind. What was my mind? Honestly. Thank you for reminding me, Brian.
You're welcome.
I saw a lot of comments on my channel that Lego should make Star Trek. That would be funny.
Yeah, actually, that would be pretty nice.
Zazungabat did a April Fool's article, I think post last year or the year before, where they said it was like a press release style thing about how Lego was bringing out Star Trek, and Andreas still gets angry comments from people today about how they think the sets are made, and
Oh my god.
at him for
They
doing
were
that.
trolled well. Hey, I was kidding with Fabuland, guys. It was a joke. I think Chad is taking this seriously.
Honestly, what will be great is a Lego theme about space race. Like we get Ariane, Atlas rockets, or just all kind of Soyuz, or just the International Space Station, but minifig scale. Yeah, just exactly like that. The version 5.
There we go.
It's
This
not
was like a
settle down.
dual stream. I just built it and crashed it twice already since then. Because I
Oh.
don't really have the space to display it.
Oh, poor rocket.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
amazing set though.
people often ask our favorite themes, but what are some underrated themes? Like maybe one or two themes. So one that always comes to mind for me. So thinking over the themes that like I had growing up and played with a lot. Exoforce for me is always one of those themes that I
Yeah.
feel doesn't
It's
get
a
very
good
much
one.
attention.
It is a good
Had a
one.
lot of really cool set designs, and also just like the number of mechs and like the mech building that came out of that. That's not something Lego does a whole lot of necessarily. So especially back when Exoforce was a theme, I thought the designs of that were super cool. I also thought the story was really cool as well. I read a lot of watched the videos, the comics and stuff they released. So I thought it had a pretty interesting story with like humans fighting the robots and everything on the mountain. But the sets themselves also were super cool, and I collected a lot of those. So for me, that's always like an underrated theme that I feel like people don't talk about enough. And for people who are newer fans, if you haven't checked those sets out, you really should. I don't think they're super expensive on the aftermarket. I think
No,
they're
they're not.
reasonable. So you could still buy a lot of those sets for close to what they cost probably.
Yeah, I did some research back in the day about the minifigures of that collection, and yeah, they have a lot of lore behind it. They have a lot of storytelling. The minifigures are very unique to each of their own, and the sets are good too. I think that theme came out like what 2005, 2004.
Yeah, I want to say they're like 2005, 2006. I feel like.
Yeah. So many people might not be even aware of it. Somebody asked in the chat, "What's your favorite Lego color?"
Blue.
Please specify.
Yellowish white,
Let's
like sun bleached white.
see. A cannabis coach Europe is like, Brian seems to be bored. No, I'm not bored. I'm trying to think of an answer that isn't Exoforce because Joshua stole it from me.
Just say Mario, man. Just say Mario.
No,
You can say it now. You can say it.
underrated Lego.
Okay,
theme.
okay.
Right. No, well, nobody likes the Mario sets, right?
No,
Mars
I'm
mission then.
No, nope.
Mars Mission. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one, actually. Yeah.
A can't believe you stole my answer. What's the site where you can look up the themes again? Is it Brick Set? There's a 1,000 bricks. Brick
Is
Set.
Lord of the Rings considered underrated? Probably not.
No, they're not those got their
They're
time to
popular.
shine.
They're popular. They're
Yeah.
great and popular.
If anything, like The Hobbit, maybe, but do
Yeah.
people like The Hobbit? You know?
Because of the movies. The movies were like mediocre in Hobbit.
Yeah, right.
I'm still in the minority, I think, in that I actually thought the Hobbit movies were pretty good, but I feel like anyone I tell that to seems
I like them.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the issue is that it contrasts between. I mean, I haven't seen Lord of the Rings, so sue me, but there's too much CGI used in Lord of the Ring, or rather in Hobbit, and then Lord of the Rings was a lot of practical effects, so that clashed with the fan base a lot, from what I've heard. So, Doc is asking if you've read the books, Josh.
I have not, no. So that I think might be a lot of it. So I just kind of appreciated it as the movies, and I thought they were good. But yeah, I haven't read the book.
Books are super good. Like they're much better. I love the movies, but books are like way deeper and like excellent storytelling overall. If somebody didn't read Lord of the Rings, just go for it. Honestly, it's amazing.
Quarantine entertainment.
Yep.
Right.
Johnny Hornet all says Johnny Thunder series sets were amazing. Johnny Thunder was
another amazing theme, but I feel like that's not super underrated either. People talk about those sets, and they're still remembered quite a bit.
So, buddy, you want to update on what's going on? We talked about a lot of international cuisine. There's going to be a new YouTube channel from Beyond the Brick opening about that.
It's all about cooking pasta now.
We're talking about pasta. Fusilli is my favorite. We're now talking about favorite Lego.
Fettuccine.
Right. Fettuccine is great.
That's my
Republicattak let everyone know that he likes Star Trek better than Star Wars.
Yes. New controversy there. You're pretty much caught up. Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
I would say maybe not underrated. Like that's my nostalgia talking. I feel like I'm gonna go with it just because the Avatar: The Last Airbender stuff was great for what it was.
I'm not very familiar with it.
I think that's underrated. I mean, I never really hear anyone talk about those sets.
Yeah. So Avatar: The Last Airbender. Do you know what it is at all, Mike?
I'm trying to look it up on Brixit right now.
Okay, so it's based on some people call it anime, some people don't, but it's all intents and purposes an anime that was based on 4 different elements, masters of those elements, and then the one true hero, Aang. And there were 3 sets based on it. One of them was a big Fire Nation ship. There was an air temple, and then there was that it? Was it just those
only
2?
Two sets. Only 2 sets.
Only 2? Wow.
Yeah.
Brixit brings only 2 sets. I
thought there were
show
3.
you.
So and they could have done a lot more with that, but the series did not get the love
I'm
that
showing
it
the screen,
deserved
John.
at the time.
Show it up.
I think the sets are great, and if you try to buy them now, good luck. Open up, a Kickstarter for that. You're going to need the money for that one.
Oh, see. So that's
so I
only 2
bought the Air
sets.
Temple for $30. I saw someone selling it at a con for like $600 sealed.
Wow.
That's insane.
And there's a little lemur figure, Momo, in that set. I traded someone for it at, I think, Philly Brickfest for like $40.
Wow.
This one little thing that's rubbery. It's incredible.
So what does make like a 2-set theme so popular? What's the deal here?
So the set is the series is very much so loved by fans. Avatar: The Last Airbender was not taken off the air too soon, but the world that it's in is very, very creative. And it was in that same time that SpongeBob started. So it's that Nickelodeon partnership that really kicked in. So it was just everything all, together with that.
Yeah.
And it's only 2 sets. They could have there's a ton of characters.
Yeah, it's only 2 sets.
Yeah, not featured in those 2 sets there. So they could have kept going with it, but they just never did.
Interesting.
And actually, Master Films just said it right here. Why did I choose that one? Lone Ranger. Lone Ranger is great because they're Western set. Forget the fact that it's Lone Ranger the movie, just like it's a Western in general. That's a great line that went on clearance, and I'm like, all right, I'll buy them. Cool.
Yeah, I think they were so underrated because I think the movie did so poorly, right?
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think people just kind of associated the movie with the sets and just moved on. But yeah, as far as it kind of brought back the Western theme at least, so that was really cool.
Totally.
The movie have one good point. It's the soundtrack with William Tell Ouverture by Rossini. That's
There you go. That perfect.
Yeah, without comment. Yeah, sure. Makes sense. Totally. If you say so, Luis, I trust you. Thank you very much. I don't feel alone anymore.
And yeah,
Studio
Doc,
Brickton is saying, naturally you can't go wrong with all this classic space, castle, etc. I just wish I was there when they came out. Yeah, I think I'm personally vouching for the castle and the classic space to come back. I think we said it before that neoclassic space would be a hit,
Oh yeah, totally.
for example.
Doc was saying,
Simpson had a good response to your anime in the chat. Brian.
so listen, Doc, I'm not the anime expert. Now, if you ask a certain camp of people, they'll say it's anime. A certain camp will say that it's not. Listen, it's all entertainment. It's all there for us to enjoy. Is Pokemon the Indigo League anime? I would say so, but some people would say, So we're just gonna leave it. I'm not the anime expert furthest thing from it, so I'm just gonna leave it there. And I do know, Eric, that they're making a Avatar: Last Airbender live action series on Netflix. Let's hope it's good. Let's hope it's better than the Avatar movie that came out by M. Night Shyamalan. Oh boy, no.
Let's just agree to disagree sometimes.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that one, Doc.
I love the Lone Ranger says, but I only bought a Tontos Camp.
Yeah, I mean that was a plastic piece, I think, or a fabric piece that was made into like the teepee. That was pretty cool.
We're about to hit the 3-hour mark, so we'll probably start winding down here soon for everyone watching. But Luis, it's been great to have you with us. I'm glad you stuck out the whole time with us. So put up with all of our
With
craziness.
pleasure.
He was like, wait, I'm still alive? What? Just zoned into the build.
Oh damn! Cut it.
Got it, quick. Nice.
For people who want to check out Luis, more of your work, what do you have coming down the pipeline in the future for him?
Oof. I have very, I hope, distracting videos about building something. I don't know what I'm going to build yet. Yeah, I can just say that it will be a blue car, but other than that, no idea.
How about you just subscribe to his channel and find out later, ladies and gentlemen. Go to Republicattak there.
I'll be very careful because that's a very poor choice.
There you go. So I would say that. Best friend Craig saying, thanks for entertaining us all tonight. Keep doing what you love and stay safe. And then I appreciate that. Thank you, Craig. And then Doc Sampson with the poop emoji super sticker for $1. That will go right into the Brian Boloco fund or bonus fund, rather. Thank you. Nice little
Super chats
right
go
there.
straight into Brian's lunch money.
Yep, right. Nice little poop in my lunch. Awesome. Thanks, Doc. Love you. Great. Well, it's been a pleasure having me here. Thank you so much, Joshua. It's been amazing.
That was the last time you're going online.
I'm going to go quit videos forever.
Yeah, and you're retired.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I'll come back for the Mario set reviews. Other than that, I'm out.
Robbie Prado says, hey, I've been a fan of Republicattak for a year and a bit and loved watching your comeback, and Beyond the Brick, your videos are amazing. Thank you. And yeah, congrats to Republicattak for all the growth and like amazing support he's getting. That's amazing.
Well, it's the people which are actually amazing. I'm just like merely following what the support, all the energy and the support they gave me, because honestly, I am pretty lucky because I just have to look at my comment section if I want to get some energy, and I just read them, and then I am full of energy even if I was very tired. So
There you go.
big
Good
thank you.
content deserves good people.
Well, you're very generous with your comments towards me. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Wes is saying so much wholesome content. We'll talk about food way more often. Hey, there was an entire episode where I didn't go on a diatribe about Mario. Isn't that amazing?
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
hey, next time each one of us gets like a burger or something and we just eat it, like just like do a mukbang.
If I had a high porn, I'd play it for you, Brian.
That's okay. Hey, producer John, send us each a couple bucks for burgers next time. Eat them on stream here, be a little cultured, you know?
I'm gonna get in and out for all of you guys because I'm in California and that's the only right way to
Well,
go.
I'm in Boston, so you gotta expedite ship
No.
that bad boy over to me.
What you don't realize, Mike, is that you don't have Culvers on the West Coast, so you're all barbarians and you don't know what you're missing out on.
Probably. And you don't have In-N-Out.
I
So
have
we
Wendy's.
can fight on this.
I have had it out multiple times, and it's good, but it just doesn't compare. But this is a discussion for another stream.
The
so
moment I visit you, I'm gonna check whatever you're saying. I should check.
I love to just see you debate like that and just grab my popcorn and just enjoy the show.
No,
Okay,
you
he's
need
like-
to send over some croissants. What are you talking about? You're in
Croissants
this
just for the morning. Come on.
No,
Hey,
anytime. Come on.
you would love the chocolate croissants.
No,
how are they pronounced in French?
Oh, pain au chocolat. Pain au chocolat.
Yeah, Brian, they're very good. That's like stuff like that is basically all John and I eat when we're in Europe because the bakeries are so good and it's so cheap.
I'm a big
That's
fan of
basically
French
every meal.
pastries. I'm a massive fan. I love croissants. I love everything. Like when I went to Paris for like a weekend to visit my friend, I would go to the bakery like every 2 hours. I swear.
Yeah.
All right, so
They're
we'll
so
all
good.
take a little bit of food from each of our regions, ship it to each other, come back on the stream, and then we'll have-
Overnight, so it's fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
But with that important discussion, I think that's going to end it for us today. So thank you everyone on YouTube and Facebook who has joined us. We really appreciate it. Thank you anyone who gave super chats so that Brian can continue eating lunch every stream. We'll, definitely
There you go.
his way.
And bon appetit to Mike. I hope that you have time to eat a bit. Because
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And big thanks to you all because like the 3 hours went just really fast. So
We talk
Yeah.
a lot. I know.
It's been such a pleasure, Luis. Thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to seeing more content from you on your channel. Hopefully, when we can start traveling again, next time we're in France, we can reach out and meet up with you in person sometime.
yeah, and have a good lunch. Sure.
Have a fantastic lunch, the best lunch.
Yeah.
Sounds
It's
good.
almost dinner time here. Jeez, I
And we
should
just
take-
had London Bridge Briggs joining right now when we're winding down. Hi, London. Bye, London.
The last 10 seconds of the
Hi,
stream.
London. Bye, London.
With London, Bridge
London
Break,
calling.
we're going to sign off, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. That'll be all from us. Check out Brian's gaming stream on Beyond the Brick this Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. See y'all later.